Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are optional. Strap in. The show starts right now.
¿Cómo están, bitches? This is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That thick, beautiful son of a bitch to my right is Evo, and we are back on a Saturday. Come to you a little later. We had some youth sports going on this morning. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I have had a great weekend. It's just really fucking getting started. Game this morning. I got homework to do after this. I'm going to be working the Browns game tomorrow for an internship, so I have a very, very busy weekend still ahead of me. Evo, how are you doing? How's the weekend going? Any exciting news going on?
Hey, just the start of the weekend for me too. Other than a little bit of yard work this morning, maybe some Oktoberfest this afternoon. Just got a full slate of football, NFL football tomorrow that I'm looking forward to, and then ended up taking Monday off of work because Monday is kind of a big day for my Vikings as well. So I don't want to be at work for that because I work that evening shift. So yeah, I got a nice little extended weekend here, and looking forward to watching a whole lot of sports and a lot of football.
Very nice. Yeah, this is going to be a great weekend for football, and I'm hoping that our picks go a little bit better than they did last weekend. Week one was a very weird weekend, kind of rough in my opinion. A lot of things that happened didn't make sense to me. Now we're going to get to all of that, but before we kind of get into that, and let me just finish sending this bullshit off real quick. We had some youth sports going on here in Ohio. Graydon's team last weekend, they had their game on Sunday. Our show was on Saturday. So they went out, they played Mayfield. Mayfield was pretty good. They played a very, very tough game. His mentor team was able to come away with a victory, 16-7. And after the game, practice started up the next week, and they kind of did their first film session, right? And I think I love watching film. I loved watching film when I was in high school as a player. I like watching film now. But this is Graydon's first real film session where he's sitting in with his coaches, kind of watching everything get broken down. And he had probably the worst game he has ever played in his entire life last week against Mayfield. Not a great time to get your first film session, but I think it's a great learning lesson, right?
I was going to say, that's a good time to get it because it's if you have errors, it's good to be able to review it and see it and fix it. I'm really curious. What grade is he in?
Graydon is in 5th grade.
And they're already doing film?
So this is a youth program. We had the opportunity. We had some kids that were gone at camp, so not everybody was there. They didn't have the full roster, so practice was going to be a little weird and disjointed anyways. So they go and they do a little film session. I thought it was great. I love the idea
of the Peter Piper
early.
pizza.
No. So it was at the high school, in the high school locker room, because they have a nice little relationship with the high school coaches, all that stuff. So I thought it was great. I think the idea of, being a coach, a lot of being a coach, especially this young, is teaching, right? And I'm not sure there's a better tool to teach than watching film if you're talking about football. You're going to see your mistakes on a big ass screen that everybody else can see as well. And you're going to have to own that. So he had a rough game last week, went through the film session, was not happy about what he saw. This week they just got done a little bit ago playing Perry, an undefeated team, a very good team. And Graydon bounced back, had a great game, and this mentor team absolutely beat the shit out of Perry. 12-0 at half. I posted to the group, kind of saying, hey, we're going to be a little late today. We got a football game. They put the screws to him in the second half. Ended up winning 32-0 against a team that was also undefeated, and they were able to eat all day up the middle. This team is very good on the outside. We have a good quarterback, good receivers. We have a lot of speed, so we can finesse the shit out of people and beat people outside. Perry knew that. They took that away, but they ran right up the middle, right up Graydon and the guards' butts, and we were eating all day, like 10, 12. I mean, massive chunks of yards. Backs did a great job. So that was awesome to see. Glad that he bounced back and that they were able to come out and get a win. When did you start watching football? Or is not start watching football? When did you start watching film?
High school. This is my earliest memory. Like the freshman football teams and stuff like that. They would have the junior high would be basically sent over like your last year in junior. We had 2 or 3 years in junior high, and the first 2 years you played at the at the middle school, the junior high school, all that stuff, and then your last year you actually bust over to the high school for freshman football. And that's when we would start watching film. Was once we actually got to the high school level. I don't have any recollection of watching anything before that.
I want to say that we started probably 8th grade, but the middle school that I went to was very small. So middle school and high school was in the same building. Basically, it was all part of the same program. Everybody knew everybody. So we started, I want to say 8th grade, watching film. But I don't know that we would have started had we not been, in one school. Also, want to give a big shout out to the Colts team out there for the youth program there in Sierra Vista. They were able to go out and finally get their first dub. I know those guys have been working really, really hard. They got some really good athletes over there. Congratulations on getting that big first W. Hope to hear about a lot more of those coming. Okay. But we are not done with youth sports for today. We have another youth athlete that we are going to highlight. Okay. And I'm actually super pumped for this. I don't know this kid. I don't know this family. Producer Amber, started reaching out to people, seeing if there was anybody that wanted to get, their athletes recognized. And we do have one. The young man's name is Carson Gurr. He is a junior wide receiver and corner out of Big Piney High School. They play 9-man football, but I got to tell you, it doesn't really matter what level of football you're playing at. If you're balling out, we're going to try to put you on here. And I'll tell you right now, you can play 9-man football and have an excellent career. Brian Urlacher came from a 9-man team in high school, went to New Mexico State, and then went on to be one of the best linebackers of all time. So I'm excited. We're going to get this footage of Carson Gurr up on the screen here. There he is. Let's make sure. See if I can go wide. Big screen on that. All right, and there is some sound, but we are not going to play it. There's some music in the background. I do not want to get hit with a violation. But we're going to go through and kind of watch the tape. You're going to see him highlighted. His coach does a really good job here on Huddle of kind of highlighting him before the play starts. All right, and here should be a circle. There we go. There he is out there wide. Nice little route. I mean, just faster than everybody else out there. A lot of space on a 9-man field, but you still need the speed to actually be able to use that space. I want to see Carson catch that, but, I mean, there's no blocks there. Beats him to the edge. Nice cutback. Uses the blocks. Cuts it back again. House. You can tell this kid is the fastest kid on the field. Go ahead, Evo.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is once you get into this sort of 9-man football, once you're able to see a guy scrape to the edge like that and basically beat all the defenders, that's showing either that the defensive guys aren't having a good angle coming in for that scrape, for that tackle, or he's just got the speed.
Yeah, this kid's got a lot of juice. We're going to see that. I'm pretty sure right here. It runs right past him. Little inside move. I want to see that ball a little more out front, but great catch by Carson. Goes down. Playing corner. This kid is really, really good. I was watching this a couple times. I'm sorry. He's still out here at receiver. Goes up, ball behind him, goes up, gets it, takes the hit, holds on. Big boy, too. Kick return. And this is where you're going to see him light it up.
Let's say it's good to see him go up there and get a pass. It's not super accurate, but he's willing to go up there and make that catch.
I mean, you can clearly see that kid's probably the best athlete on the field.
Oh, yeah,
finds
he's got
the crease
10 15 yards on everybody.
Yeah. And then here, slow plays it, goes to bite, and then has recovery speed, goes up, ball skills to go up and get it as a defender. I mean, we saw him be able to play wide receiver and do a lot of different things. He was able to do that similar stuff on the opposite side of the ball as well. So Carson Gurr, shout out, man. This is a guy that, let's close that immediately because I don't know what's coming up after that. Really, really cool that we were able to do that. Interesting story. You know, he has family member. We're both prior military. His uncle was a Marine, lost his life. You can see a lot of those things that he posts on his Facebook, kind of, a homage to him. So I'm really happy that we get to do this, being two, Army vets ourselves, to kind of highlight him. And then, he wants to go on and play at the next level. If we can kind of put some information out there about him, get maybe some more eyes on this kid, because listen, he wants to go to some decent sized programs here. Like his number one choice is Utah. We're going to make a video. We're going to tag Utah's ass. We're going to make sure they can see this film. Black Hills. I had a couple of buddies that I played with in high school. They went to Black Hills. It's a good program. Rocky Mountain in Montana. So if we can get him some exposure, get him out there, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to see Carson going out there being a stud on a Saturday. Shit, maybe.
Is he high school?
He is high school. He is a junior in high school.
Junior? Okay. So there's
that's
definitely
about the time you're going to start getting looks.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty more time to put out more film too and stuff like that. Absolutely. And obviously, I mean, they're going to be, those are the wide angle shots. Those are not like tough, they're all 22, but those are shots that are intended to help, for those practices with the team. Parents or something like that for Carson, definitely get out there and get some more footage that is a little bit more focused on him to help send to recruiting and stuff like that, because he's obviously got the speed for it. And when you're talking about college and going to become a college athlete, they are looking sometimes less about like stats and stuff like that and more of like
they want to see measurables.
Traits. If they're seeing that sort of speed already on the field, they're going to be like, how can we use this sort of speed? And those are the sorts of things that those college coaches are going to be looking for.
Absolutely. And you know what? One thing I do love about 9-man football is some guys are really good straight line, right? I love the fact that 9-man football, there's a little more space, and then you actually have to understand how to use that space, right? Like I think 9-man football can be really beneficial, especially if he improves a little bit on that defensive side. Only 9 guys out there, more space. You got to find ways to cover more area than you would ever expect any football player playing regular football to have to do. So 9-man football can do some really, really good things for you. But shout out Carson Gurr. Keep balling out. Big Piney, keep going. And I'll have producer Amber make sure that she sends thank yous over to the coach who sent that to us, and also to his mom and Carson. Hopefully we can reach out and send our thanks for allowing us to highlight your badass athleticism.
Yeah, awesome. Keep it going, man.
All right. Well, I think we're ready to transition into some college, some pro, and then we'll start diving into the NFL. You ready? Got anything else you want to hit on real quick?
No, I'm good. Let's rock, man.
All right. So we're going to start in baseball because the rest of the day is going to be devoted to football. Big game going on right now. Guardians are starting to pull away with this thing over there in the Central. Your Twins have struggled 4-6 over their last 10. Your playoff chances have dramatically dropped. You guys are 5 games back from us now. We are up 5-0, bottom of the 7th. The White Sox are trying to crawl their way back in. Tony La Russa is still not there. That's why they're playing well. I really got to stop burying that guy, but also at the same time, fuck him. Like, I don't feel bad for it.
Coming.
Yeah,
we have a 5-game stretch over 4 days between the Guardians and the Twins here. I don't expect us to make up the ground. Football season is in play right now. Baseball season's over for me.
Yeah, so we're baseball. I think baseball season is about over for you at this point as well,
which is fine because I feel great about the football season. So.
Yeah, I bet you do, especially after last week. But yeah, so baseball is. There's a lot of interesting races. I don't know if there's any real close races at this point. The wild cards are starting to get pulling away as well. The Rays are 4.5 up on the Orioles. I didn't think the Orioles would be here. I don't know that the White Sox or the Twins will even come close to crawling back into that thing. Now, we could see the Dodgers. I'm not sorry, not the Dodgers. The Padres maybe falter a little bit. The Brewers can sneak in. But
the closest race that you have is NL East, and that's between the Mets and the Braves. And because the Braves,
but they're both for sure making it.
Yeah, like, absolutely.
It'll be depending on who's going to have to play in that wild card.
Right.
But they're both in. So yeah, baseball is starting. We're starting to kind of figure out. I think the best race in baseball right now is that AL Central. But I believe that my Guardians are really starting to pull away here. They're playing really good fucking ball right now.
We're gonna have to see some like pretty epic play by the Twins, coupled with some not so good play from both the White Sox and the Guardians to see this get close again. Because once you start to get these sorts of differentials at this point in time of the season, it's real tough to make up for that. And I mean, we know what these teams are now.
Yeah, we know exactly.
Post All-Star break, post trade deadline, you know what these teams are.
Somebody's going to have to be a revelation in the last month, and I don't think we're going to see that. I mean, we're what 2 weeks away from I think the end of the season at this point, so there's going to have to be a big change.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
Not happening.
We're going to win the Central.
That's fine.
The team that I didn't think was going to go over 500 is about to win the Central. It's fucking wild. Elsewhere in baseball, Albert Pujols just keeps hitting fucking dingers. It's still going to be very close. I'm still not going to be the asshole that jinxes it. But he's at 698. He's only got to hit 2 more. He's got a couple weeks. It's going to be very close. But I think everybody knows exactly what I'm thinking. I'm not going to be the guy that says it and fucks it up for him.
Do you if you're like out there in Pujols' last game and you're pitching to him, do you just be like, all right, man,
serve it up, just serve one up?
Here's this like an 80-mile-per-hour fastball down the middle, like enough speed where it can pop off the bat, so not like a fucking eephus pitch or something, but like something where you know that it's coming. Like you just give him the nod, be like, all right, bro.
Here you go. Now there were some rumors, that a little bit of controversy that this is something that happened in Cal Ripken's last All-Star game, is that there was a pitcher threw a pitch, fucking middle, and it was missing a good 5-6 miles an hour of velocity off of a fastball that you would typically see from a guy in an All-Star game, and everybody kind of had as like, did we just serve one up so he can go out on a really high note for Cal Ripken in his last All-Star game? So in an All-Star game, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
In a regular season game, you can't do that. You can't serve one up. Maybe somebody will, but I hope they don't. Like, make him earn it. I think that he might. It will be very, very close.
So you think like in his next 2 games, if he gets 2 home runs, that he just hangs it up there? No, we're just gonna leave it at
God. Oh my God. Just fucking ruin baseball. Be like, hey, Rob Manfred, lick my asshole. I'm not hitting that 700 home run to give you a storyline.
Well, I'm saying in the next 2 games, if he hit 2 over like the next 2 games, does he just
stop?
Like, I'm done.
I got 700. I'm fucking out.
Yeah. Y'all enjoy the last couple weeks. Get someone who is more consistent in there than me.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's been good. He's been good for that team the past couple weeks. But
he hit the 2-run bomb he hit the other night, tied up the game in the bottom of the 6th. Like, he's helping that Cardinals team be very, very good. They have probably the top 2 NL MVP candidates right now. So, and Albert is a pro's pro. He is a good guy to have in the locker room, I'm sorry, not locker room. Jesus Christ, in the clubhouse. So
same difference.
Yeah, baseball people are weird. You got to call it, like, we don't have referees. You have an umpire. It's a
And
clubhouse.
shit
You don't
has-
have a coach. You have a manager or a skipper. Like baseball's got to have their own shit. And you know what? There are some things in baseball that I don't like, this old school baseball shit. But you know what? Having your own names for things, fine. If you want to talk about some of the other unwritten rules and bullshit, I'm never going to defend that. But like calling your manager Skip, like I got no problem with that. Or a clubhouse, those make sense to me. I got nothing else in baseball, man. Like I'm just so excited to get to watch some badass October baseball because my Guardians are definitely fucking making it. That is one thing I am not necessarily worried about jinxing right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about that. You'd have to have a monumental downfall really to lose.
Yeah, we'd have
spot.
to have a massive slide at this point. If we play 500 baseball, we're in at this point. Like we don't even have to win 2 of 3. If we play 500 ball, we're solid.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're going to transition over to football. We're going to talk college football, and this is a terrible week for college football. There is not a single game that I would want to turn on TV right now. Now, don't get me wrong. Later on, I might try to turn on Toledo, Ohio State, just so I have some background noise while I'm doing my homework, taking a test, writing a paper, all that stuff. But Georgia is just dick slapping South Carolina right now. Yeah, the Gamecocks. There was never a chance. Georgia, I believe, was laying 45 in this. I think they can still cover. They're not covering now. They're covering. They got 41. Ooh, 53 seconds left. That stinks.
Yeah.
If you took the Georgia cover there, that's a tough beat because I don't know that South Carolina should have scored. Michigan's playing UConn. UConn is a basketball school. 59-0. Oklahoma is beating the brakes off of Nebraska. Nebraska sucks. They're awful at football. They have been awful for quite some time, if I'm going to be completely honest. And I don't feel bad about it at all. I cannot stand Nebraska. Nebraska is a team that came to, the Big Ten. They thought that they were going to dominate because they had so much success in the Big 12. And they've been getting their dick smacked ever since they got there. They brought in their guy, Scott Frost, who was a former Nebraska player. They're not recruiting their guys. I don't understand what they're trying to do. Nebraska had a really good formula for a really long time. They played their brand of football, and they were pretty goddamn successful. They tried to change that up a little bit, and they have missed on so many athletes.
I feel like the last time I remember them being relevant was when I was in high school. So we're talking like late 2007 timeframe, 2006.
Yeah, so late 90s and through the mid 2000s, Nebraska was really good at football. And now they're really fucking bad at it. They tried to go to a spread system, and then that didn't work. You're not getting too many of those big time kind of athletes out there in the middle of the goddamn cornfields in Nebraska. Nebraska just needs to fucking hunker down and go the way of Iowa. Let's go get some big corn-fed boys and let's run the fucking ball. And if you can find a quarterback who wants to come in and play in a pro-style offense, Nebraska can get better. But I don't know what their vision is. And Scott Frost is gone now. So they are just pissing in the fucking wind. And I'm all here for it. Well, and then for the rest of the day, Kentucky beat the shit out of Youngstown State. Baylor beat Texas State. The terrible fucking weekend for college football. Now, if you wanted to bet, I'm sure there were some decent bets out there, but you would be laying or getting a ton of points. And anytime we're talking 24 to fucking 45 points, like in the Georgia game, I'm staying the hell away from those. You don't
think that we're going to have an upset from the undefeated Toledo team versus your Ohio State?
Yeah,
Buckeyes?
No, that's absolutely not happening. I don't know what the spread is. I would be surprised.
Minus 31.
31. And say I'd be surprised if it was more than 28.
But the over/under is 62.5.
Apparently, Toledo is going to score some points.
Yeah. So,
I don't under some of the lines on these college games don't make sense.
This to be like 20, 24 to fucking 40 something. Like,
yeah, which
they're expecting Toledo to put points on you guys.
Which I mean, we've had multiple teams not put points on us. Like, we played the number 5 team in the country, who is, by the way, fucking terrible at football as well. And they didn't really score any points. Like, the Ohio State defense is pretty good. Now I have no idea if they're actually good, because we beat number 5, who then went on to lose to Marshall? Was it Marshall?
So. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Notre Dame sucks at football too. But yeah, I digress. I'm gonna turn it on for background noise while I'm crushing, homework that involves sports. Man, I love my classes. I watch movies on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I do some analysis of some film. I have an acting class, and I sit in there and I learn about sports and marketing and ticket sales, and like going back to school is the greatest decision, because my school right now is easy as fuck. I'm gonna have to in the beginning too. I am gonna have to take like a math class again at some point. I'm gonna probably wait till the summer to do that, when I don't have a billion fucking things going on with kids and I can actually spend time learning math again. But right now, man, like, it's fucking so good getting paid to go to school.
Oh yeah, that's the nicest part.
Yeah, yes, it is. I got nothing else on college football. I don't know that there's anything else we're talking. I mean, we got Penn State Auburn at 3:30. That might be the best game of the day. Penn State Auburn.
Yeah, my Gophers are playing Colorado, and I mean they're favored, by 28.
Colorado stinks.
They're 0-2. So, I mean, I'm still passively watching my Gophers row the boat. Sky Uma, and hopefully, they have themselves a good fucking season. But college football, it's like I've kind of always said, I like watching the games less for the games and more for watching the individuals, because I'm so hardcore focused on the NFL. Right. I like watching guys kind of pop and being like, I wonder what's going to happen with
let's do some research on this gentleman. All right. Yeah, I'm done with college football as well. This is a terrible week. Because we're not in conference. We're still paying cupcakes to come and get their asses beat. All right, let's transition over into the NFL. Any big storylines that you want to talk about before we get into some of the recap of games from last week and get into some picks for this next week?
The only thing really that I don't know that we've tapped on is, if you're tracking, Brett Favre is intertwined in a whole bunch of shit. I don't really want to get deep in the weeds with it, because I don't like highlighting fuckers.
There you go. Good catch.
But Brett Favre is a piece of shit. I've known it all along. Yeah. I've said it all along. And it sounds like he was basically taking money from places that he shouldn't have been.
Stealing from welfare.
Yeah. Amidst sending dick pics to people who aren't, people.
Yeah. So Brett Favre is a terrible person. Like we brought him up last week about the whole coming to you guys, but there's a big story in there. Like, he wanted out, forced his way out of Green Bay, essentially. Went to the Jets, sent his fucking tiny pecker to some lady, unwanted, and then forced his way, basically kind of weaseled his way to you guys. My understanding is most Vikings fans did not want that to happen. You have said that there would have been an asterisk.
I can't say that I am like most Vikings fans. I mean, most Vikings fans have this deep hatred for the Packers, but I can't say when it comes to the Favre situation that we're in the same boat. I really feel like it was a lot more 50-50, because let's be honest.
He had a chance to take it to the Super Bowl.
The team across the border to our east, they constantly had Hall of Fame style quarterback play. They constantly had deep playoff runs and things like that. And it's pretty easy when you're part of a franchise that has lost as many Super Bowls as we have, and not had very much recent success, to want what the other people are having. And so being able to have that come across the border and stuff, I get the appeal where they're like, okay, like we'll take whatever it takes in order to get a Super Bowl. I'm not in that boat. I'm not willing to not just sell my soul to the devil, but sell my soul to like Al Qaeda and every other organization he's probably affiliated with. Brett Lorenzo Favre, because his name is spelled wrong, is a piece of shit, and that's how it'll always be for me. But
His name's there's Lorenzo.
Yes, and his middle name is spelled correctly, Lorenzo. His last name is spelled incorrectly, Favre.
Is Lorenzo a French name too? I thought that was Italian.
I don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah, Brett Favre's a piece of shit. I mean, we'll call a spade a spade.
Yeah,
Brett Favre is a piece of shit. I mean, he's always been kind of weird, and there was a weird relationship that he had, I think, with media, fans, and like this just seals it. Like Brett Favre is never getting another goddamn Wrangler commercial or a fucking Copper Fit commercial.
I was gonna say, he's probably gonna be fine at the end of it all, based off of the money that he had earned in his playing career and his Copper Fit commercials and all that bullshit, snake oil. But whatever. That's something I wanted to bring up. If I have an opportunity to trash Brett Favre, the quarterback with the most interceptions ever in the NFL, I will do so.
All right. So are we ready to dive into some actual like football?
I'm always ready, baby.
All right.
I got a copious notes. Hannah saw me in bed last night.
I would have had a lot of notes, but I've had a very busy fucking day, busy week. But there are some numbers that I am trying to pull up as we speak. But before I do that, if I don't have some nicotine right now, I'm gonna have a stroke.
All right. Well, while you go get that, I'm going to jump into our Thursday night game that just happened. We had the Chargers and the Chiefs on Thursday, so just a couple days ago. This was being played in Arrowhead. If there was any questions about the field and the painting of the field, I was curious at first. It's the 50-year anniversary for the Chiefs, so they painted it just like it was 50 years ago, so that's why some of the logos look a little bit different. This was a very tight game, one where at least initially the Chargers came out looking real good. And the Chiefs ended up coming back and winning at the end of the game, 27-24. So a very, very tight race there. This is a playoff football game, something that we definitely expect to see going on further in the season. You had Justin Herbert go down with a fractured rib cartilage, I believe.
Yeah, fractured rib cartilage is the official.
And that's going to be really interesting to watch going forward here, if that affects him, how much it affects him, because like those rib injuries, they don't heal overnight, and there's something that you feel constantly. Every breath you take, every step you take, it's going to fucking hurt in me.
He'll be
or
watching
some shit, whatever the fucking song lyric is. But
every breath you take, every move you make. We're not going to. That's it.
I just wanted to solo up on you.
I wanted you to join me, and then you fucking leave me hanging solo.
No, that's all you. That's all you, buddy. But either way, that rib injury is going to be interesting to watch because the Chargers are one of the AFC favorites. They're expected to go into the playoffs, expected to go deep in the playoffs. And having this sort of a rib injury at this point in time in the season, like, will it get better as the year goes on? It can, but it's not like he's not going to take hits, and it's not like it could get exacerbated. So look, football is a game of grit. You see that all over the Lions locker room, grit, and we'll see what sort of grit Justin Herbert has. He's going to need it because those rib injuries suck. It was a very interesting game. You saw Jalen Watson, the 7th round pick, return a 99 yard pick 6 for a touchdown. There's some questionable calls and whatnot. You can go ahead and get into your thoughts.
His receiver did him dirty there. God damn it! I'm getting all caught up in my shit.
Sit on your nuts.
No, well, it is a little warm in here now, but I had my headphone cord all tangled up. His receiver did him dirty there. If you go back and look, you can see that the leverage that's being played called for exactly what Herbert threw. And in those tight windows, like you gotta be on the same page. Herbert made the right throw. His receiver broke the wrong fucking way based on leverage. That's tough. And then Herbert can't make the tackle. And Herbert with this injury is going to be very, very tough. This is actually an injury that I have had. My freshman year of college, I don't know if it's the same, but it is very similar. I separated the cartilage that holds my rib together from my sternum, so it was like cracked loose. It was one of the worst pains of I have ever fucking felt in my life. It hurt to breathe. I could not do shit. I was out. I didn't practice or do much of fucking anything for 2 weeks. And then when I came back, when I got popped and when I got hit, that shit still didn't feel good. Like you knew, you're like, oh my God, I feel like my heart is coming out of my chest. I'm not breathing hard. I'm fine. It's just that searing fucking pain. It was tough. And he's going to be using that part of his body all year. He's going to probably put some torque on there. They're going to have to hit him up probably with some cortisones, a lot of different things that get him ready.
Percocets, apparently. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers said he could take them. I'm sure Brett Favre was on way more than Percocets. But, Aaron Rodgers.
We're not taking ayahuasca? Ayahuasca then going out there playing?
I doubt Brett Favre doesn't seem like the type that would do ayahuasca. He seems like the type that's going to be doing key bumps. He's going to be doing key bumps off of some fat hooker's ass down in the bayou. Aaron Rodgers likes to find himself blue witches and go down to Mexico and do ayahuasca trips and fucking make balloon animals with his silly dick.
Yeah, but Herbert is gonna need some drugs. He's got I don't know what kind of shots they still give in the NFL. I would imagine cortisone is gonna be.
They give
one
plenty
of them.
still. They give plenty.
I know some teams. I heard Pat McAfee talk about it. They stopped doing. God, it's like non-narcotic, but it's a very, very intense painkiller. I do not remember. God damn it! I'm gonna have to Google it. But yeah, he's gonna need help getting through all of these fucking next few games. When is their bye week? Because that's gonna be very crucial for them.
Just a second here. While I look that up, one thing to keep in mind is that rib injuries are not like an automatic. You're not playing. Of course, it doesn't list the bye weeks.
Toradol here is what I was talking about.
Okay,
Toradol, non-narcotic.
Toradol's a motherfucker.
Toradol's great. But
what I was saying about rib injuries,
stop giving it out.
Players absolutely can play through those rib injuries. It's not like a sidelining thing unless the player opts for it. And week 8, October 30th, is the bye week for the Chargers. I remember playing football. God, I want to say almost like 6th grade or something like that. We had a kid move from Texas. He played running back. He played quarterback. He played wide receiver. He was good. I mean, he came from fucking Texas. And this little guy cracked a rib in one of our games. And in my head, I hear cracked rib, thinking cracked bone. He's done. And the next game, they come trotting him out with a rib protector on.
The extra pad. Yep.
Yeah. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. But it's like, it's cracked ribs you can play through. It is just a pain thing at that point. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure
you have to find a way to manage and work through it.
There's definitely an increase for injury and re-injury, but I mean, that's why I say it's going to be a grit thing. I don't think Herbert's not going to play unless it is just so painful that he is not able to move.
He should have come out in the last game.
Yeah. And he didn't.
Was struggling. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a thing where it's like, if he's unable to perform his job correctly, then yeah, you got to put the backup in. But if he's able to work through the pain, he's going to keep playing. So, I mean, I really like the Chargers. I thought that they had themselves a damn good game there against the Chiefs, and it just kind of slipped away from them at the end. They look like
a better team for probably 3.5 quarters.
Yeah. Now, I have to agree with Mina Kimes on this. Did you think that interception that was called back?
It was DP. That was OPI. That was not DPI. It was OPI, if anything. He threw him to the fucking ground.
I'm talking about the reviewed interception by, I believe it was Asante Samuels Jr.
Oh, that was a fucking pick.
Yeah. Mina Kimes said basically the same thing, that called back interception that wasn't interception. Yeah, he secured it here, released it, re-secured it, and then as it was going underneath, it definitely rubbed against the ground, but they called it back. I don't know. I thought it was an interception. That to me was the game-changing moment
of the fucking ball.
That to me was the game-changing moment because it was later in the game. If that interception had happened, I don't know if the Chiefs make this comeback the same way. Look, I like the Chargers a lot. I think that the Chiefs are a good team too. I think that, people kind of got a little too hyped on them playing the Cardinals in week 1, the Chiefs, because the Cardinals have such a bad secondary and their offensive weapons are lacking right now with D-Hop being suspended and whatnot, and Rondale Moore being hurt. The Chiefs are going to be a good team, but are they going to be a great team? I don't know. And the fact that they were able to play the Chargers like this, where they had multiple interceptions, this is the first time Patrick Mahomes in his career has ever played the Chargers and not thrown at least one pick. I was looking for that prop bet. So
he threw 2, but
yeah. So, I mean, and if you look at it, Mahomes was 24-35, only 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he probably had 2 interceptions that, obviously were not given to him. And Herbert on the other side, 33-48, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that 1 interception, which kind of sealed the game. The Chargers are going to continue to be a good team, barring any sort of crazy setbacks with Herbert. Chiefs are going to be a good team as well, but I don't think they're going to be as dominant as people have been expecting.
I don't think so either. But week one was super weird. Week 2 got off to a good start. It was a good game. There were some breaks that did not go the Chargers' way, though.
Yeah, for sure. And it was being played in Arrowhead. You can expect breaks to fall the way of the home team.
Yeah, absolutely. So while we're talking about that week 1 and we got our picks in for week 2, I'm going to go ahead and share this real quick. Maybe if I can figure out how the fuck to do it. There it is. All right. So week 1 was tough for your boys. It did not go great. You see a lot of red. Red means we missed. I went 6-9-1 in week 1. I got the push on Indy
zoom in
money
a little
line.
bit here, buddy?
I don't know if I can.
Bottom right corner.
Bottom right corner. There.
Get a little slider bar, bottom right corner, so we can zoom in there.
Oh yeah, I gotcha. I just put this thing at full screen. Jesus Christ, I gotta learn how to use Excel.
It's all right, college boy. You'll get there.
Yeah. How's that?
Perfect.
Yeah. So it was not great. I did not expect 49ers to get smacked. Cincinnati didn't have. I thought Saints would cover. You had it right. We had some picks that we had the same. Very happy that you were wrong on the Panthers pick. But I went 6-9-1. The only reason I got that one, I went Indy money line, and they fucking tied, which I was weird. And you went 6-10. We are off to a good start. Week 2, though, we both took Chargers +4. We talked about maybe going money line on the Chargers, which looked like a really good bet for a while. But glad I went Chargers +4. So off to a good start week 2.
See, my issue is that I'm not betting on all of these games in real life.
I'm not betting either.
But I'm gonna make a pick on them, and I need to make the mindset of I need to make a pick and not thinking about what the actual payout would be if I put money on it. Because when I talk a lot of times about I would do money line versus the spread here or there, I'm thinking, I'm gonna get more money out of the money line. I want to do that versus the more safe, truer bet of going with spread picks and things like that sometimes. So I need to work my head around that. That'll help my 6-10 a little bit. In addition to that, it was a weird week 1 for sure in a lot of places. I really think that, I put out some post week 1 notes on the socials.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're going to see this more and more, I think, in the first week and maybe even 2 weeks of the year, where teams aren't showing their true colors, or if they are showing their true colors, it's an extreme exacerbation of it. You're not going to see Joe Burrow turn the ball 5 times or turn over the ball 5 times again.
No,
you're just not. You're not going to see a lot of these things happen that we saw. The 49ers Bears, that weather involved in that game, the 49ers are a better team. They just are.
Oh, for sure.
But like you saw really wonky play and stuff like that. It was just a really weird week 1. And that's why you always hear about the, most overblown week in sports is, the reactions after week 1 of the NFL. So, we do have to kind of pump the brakes a little bit on some of this, but you have all these starters that don't play very much in the preseason. You have a lot of playbook installs that you do not see in the preseason at all. So you won't see that until week 1 and from there on out. So not a great betting week for us, but it'll get better.
Yeah, it will for sure get better. Because I feel very good about some of my week 2 picks going in. I'm going to be a little bit probably more conservative here. But I still got a couple of nice little things in there that I think are going to pay. I'm going to take a couple of shots, but I won't probably take as many shots. And I think now that we have seen a little bit of what happened in week 1, it'll give us a little more guiding light going into week 2.
For sure.
All right. Get rid of that bad boy. All right. So, yeah, Thursday night's game, we hit that. I felt really good about the Chargers. Now, granted, we got the backdoor cover there. Herbert throwing that late touchdown when he probably shouldn't have been in the game. But they look like the better team throughout the majority of that fucking game.
Yeah, I really thought that they did. It's interesting, too, because, Keenan Allen wasn't out there. Mike Williams got fed the ball a lot more. You can expect that target share to get spread around a lot more once Keenan Allen's back, which I'm kind of feeling like he'll be back next week. He said after the game when he was injured, he didn't think it was that big of a deal. Thought he could be back for this week, but with it being a short week, it was never going to happen. Now they have a longer rest period before next weekend. I fully expect him to be back. So you're going to see the opportunities increase for better receivers, not to knock on Josh Palmer or anything like that. But Keenan Allen's is, a much better receiver than some of those backups. So
one of the best route runners
see
in the
more
league.
options out there. And really, I think, like I said, Gerald Everett kind of fucked him on that one. So
not enough time, not enough reps. You need, but like if Keenan Allen's there, that they're definitely on the same page. That probably goes for 6. So,
all righty. So ready to get kicked into the rest of this week.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll hold off on the Jets Browns for a little bit. 10 a.m. game, we have the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions being played at Ford Field. First time in like fucking forever that Detroit is favored. Currently, the line is Detroit minus 1.5 over under a 48. Dan Campbell has to have his fucking players fired up. Hey, we're making a difference here. We're actually expected to win. The Commanders went out and won last week. We lost last week, and we're expected to win this game. You guys are buying into my program. You're doing good things. It was real interesting. The Commanders last week, they
should have fucking lost. I had the Jags beating them.
It was a closer game, but we saw some good things from like Jahan Dotson. It's funny if you go and look at beat reporters for the Commanders, you'll have a tweet saying Carson Wentz sucks, and then Carson Wentz is awesome, and then Carson Wentz sucks. It's such a oscillation on that guy,
and I think they're all right. I think they are all correct.
From him.
Exactly. So some days you're going to go out and you're going to see Carson. He's going to look like a goddamn MVP. And then some days you're going to go out there and you're going to see Carson. You're like, this guy shouldn't be on a fucking roster.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be on a roller coaster all year with him.
And that's why I don't like picking them. The way the Lions played Philly last week, which I'll get more into those stats, specifically the Philly stats when it gets to my game. But the Lions went out there and just kept running the ball down their throats over and over. The Philly guys came out and said, we didn't expect them to be able to get back and stay in this game running the ball, but they fucking did. And that's what the Lions are. That's what Dan Campbell has built this team to be. He knows who Jared Goff is. You're not going to get a ton out of him. He can be serviceable, but he's not going to be the guy to go out and win you a game. But they have one of the better offensive lines in the game. They've got a stable of pretty good runners in Swift and I can't think of the other guy's name off the top of my
Jamal
head right
Williams.
now. Yep. So they're going to continue to pound the ball. I mean, I think it was like their first 5 drives were touchdowns, like or something like that. Like the Lions are legit.
The Lions are going to be good.
They're willing to play hard, blue collar, black and blue NFC North style football. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the Commanders can defend against that, honestly. Like, and you still have Amon-Ra St. Brown and stuff like that as receiving options. This Lions team is absolutely better than that Jaguars team. And the Jaguars, like you said, very well could have beaten the Commanders. So Detroit only being 1.5 point favorites here is a surprise to me. Like, I'm taking that easily. I think it's at least 3, if not 4 point favorites, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm going on this game, Detroit plus the points.
Detroit plus the 1.5.
Yeah, or minus the 1.5.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, minus the 1.5. It's weird to say Detroit's the favorite. Yeah, this Detroit team is going to be pretty goddamn good. The fact that they ran the ball so well, it did surprise me a little bit. That is one of the deepest, most talented defensive fronts in the NFL for the Eagles. And they ran it right down their fucking throats. They could do anything they fucking wanted.
Like I said, I'll get into some of these stats specifically with the Eagles defense when he gets to my game because I had to look into it. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? It's interesting. Like, I think it's more on the Eagles than anything. Of course, props to the Lions and the type of ball that they play. They have the personnel to do that, to keep running the ball. But the Eagles defense under their defensive coordinator, Gannon, I think Gannon's a fucking joke, and I don't think that he lasts the season if they keep playing like this. Like,
okay, all right. I'm interested to hear some of that.
There's some stuff there.
But I think that Eagles defense is better than this Commanders defense.
They should be, yeah.
I think the Eagles are a far superior team to the Commanders. I am all in on Dan Campbell and this Lions team. We did our bold predictions. I got the Lions making the fucking playoffs. I'm all in on the Lions. And I'm not taking the points. I'm going to go Lions on the money line. Now, they are favored, right?
Yes.
But I still think that people are hesitant on the Lions because, well, they're the fucking Lions. Like, but I'm in on the Lions. What were the odds? Let me pull that up. I think you can get Lions money line. They're minus 120. You take the spread, you're getting minus 110. Man, the spread actually sounds better, especially based on the money. Like, I think they can for sure win by 3. I'm still gonna go. I'm going Lions money line. I expect them to get a first win. They're gonna be kind of up and down a little bit. They're gonna win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game. They'll have a little stretch where they win a couple in a row to, I think, get them to 10 wins this year. So I'm going Lions money line.
This is going to be a fun one for Detroit too, because it is in Detroit. You know, I'm expecting Eminem and Kid Rock and all them motherfuckers to be out there pumping up their team. They just had hard knocks. The city's behind them. They know that this team is getting better, and they showed a lot of that grit last week. Like, Detroit's going to be a madhouse in that stadium, I think, at Ford Field or whatever the fuck they call it now. I don't know if it's still Ford Field. It's still
Ford Field, I believe.
Yeah, it is. I got it right here in front of my face. Okay. Idiot. But yeah, it's going to be a madhouse there. They're gonna be having a good time in Detroit.
Yeah, they're going to show out.
Unless they lose, then it's going to be more of the same. But
yeah. All right, we got this real quick. What's going on, $20? Hey, thanks for popping in, brother. We love you. If you guys like video games, go check out $20. It's $20. He is a badass on Call of Duty. And when he plays, his team is not guaranteed to lose. Like, you know, somebody else we know.
We can get about that. We can get into that here in a bit. But and I guess the further alluding to that, Call of Duty right now has a beta weekend starting up. A new game coming out here in the next couple months. So a lot of focus is probably being put onto that game.
Yeah, so there's a beta. It comes out this weekend, right? Beta coming out this week?
I know that the beta had started like as of yesterday, and I believe it was for like PlayStation users or something like that. I haven't really paid too much attention. I think I got it pre-downloaded or something, but
I believe there's a quarterback that plays on PlayStation, really likes Call of Duty, and then there's a beta this weekend. A little foreshadowing on maybe some of the picks that are coming.
Yeah. All right, so we're both on the lines on this game. I got the
Mhm.
line, you've got the money line. All right, we can move on to our next game, 10 a.m. in New Orleans. You have the Saints and the Buccaneers. All right, line right now, according to Caesars, Tampa Bay -2.5, over under of 44. This is the Buccaneers team that went into Dallas last week, and it was kind of a snooze fest, honestly.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game. Obviously, some things happened there. Dak going down is not great. I feel terrible for Dak. That Cowboys team is going to be in rough shape for a while. I mean, Cooper Rush is Cooper Rush. I I don't know. I don't know enough about him to say that he is terrible, but I also know that he is. There's a reason that he is a backup on a team that was expecting to have a really solid starter this year in Dak Prescott. He's a guy. He's just a guy. And he's not a I don't know, he's a quality backup. They're in trouble, but that's not the game we're talking about. We are talking about Bucks and Saints. And I got to tell you, like, this game to me is very tough to call. Um
Well, you want some stats for it, Mike?
yeah,
Maybe
let's
it'll
go
help make
ahead.
it a little easier.
You
All right.
got do you have the ATS against the spread stuff, because I'm trying to pull it up because I read about it the other day and I
So I
missed.
don't know where you get your stuff. I kind of conglomerate from around the internet, but I've got here that Tom Brady has never gone back-to-back games scoring less than 24 points as a Buccaneer. In the last 6 games, after scoring less than 20 points, Brady averages 37 points. And he also averages 27 points per game when playing New Orleans in New Orleans over the last 2 seasons. So this all kind of leans towards Brady actually putting up some points this game, is basically what it's saying. The one thing that I'll say is that the Saints still have always seemed to have the Bucks number. It's always a hard fought game, whether the Bucks are good or the Saints are good. It doesn't really seem to matter. It's a hard fought game. Right now, and I'm basing this off of last week, the Cowboys, we know that there was an injury to Dak. We know that they were out without Michael Gallup. They're without their left tackle. So that offense is going to struggle some, right? And for the most part, the Buccaneers defense did shut down Dallas. They didn't score a touchdown, right? 19-3, I believe. The Buccaneers still only put up 1 touchdown in this game. They didn't look fantastic on offense. The Cowboys defense is kind of the better squad on that team, but still to only put up 19 points kind of had me questioning, that Bucks team. I didn't like how the offensive line looked for the Bucks. I think that this will be a higher scoring game. I am not going to take the over, but if I was forced to, I would take the over of 44 points here. And I'm going to actually take the Saints plus 2.5 points on this one.
Okay. And we're kind of right on the same page. Tom Brady is 0-4 since he has gone down to Tampa and played the Saints. He typically struggles in that stadium. Saints are 8-2 against the spread in the last 10 games following an at the spread loss. They are 11-5 against the spread in their last 16 against the NFC South. There are some big injuries that are still making me question my pick. Like Alvin Kamara, I want to see him practice. I don't know if he ever got to practice in this week.
Yeah,
So that
I
does
still don't
worry
think he's
me a
going to
little
play,
bit.
but Godwin is going to be out for this game as well. Not that he contributed a ton last week, but he's obviously not 100%, so not going to be playing.
So Tom's not good down there. The Saints are good coming off of an against the spread loss. The Saints are good in their last 16, 11-5 against the
And
spread.
you
in
had
the
that
NFC
sideline.
South.
You had that sideline cam catching Tom talking to Julio saying, "Sorry, man, I ain't got the arm strength anymore to throw it that deep to you." Like, we know Tom is old, and he's not going to be what he was when he was younger. The arm strength is waning.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So I'm right there on board with you. I'm going Saints plus the 2.5. I kind of bucked some of the trends last week, and I feel like it definitely hurt some of my picks. There's a reason these all these stats are kept, and it's because they hold pretty true, especially when you're talking about gambling. I'm going Saints plus the 2.5 points. I like the under a little bit more in this game. That Saints defense is really, really fucking good. Jameis was a little banged up, but so if I had to go over under, I think I would take the under here. But I'm definitely on Saints plus the 2.5 points.
Now, this Saints versus Falcons last week was 27-26. The Saints barely squeaked it out, and the Falcons actually put up a really tough fight. Cordero Patterson had himself a game there. But, I mean, that game went over 50 points versus a Falcons team that doesn't have as many weapons as the Buccaneers do. The Buccaneers, I think, have a higher potential to put up more points than the Falcons did, and the Falcons were able to put up 26. All right. Now, the Falcons have a bad or a rough defense at best, and the Saints were able to put up 27 against them. Being that this game is going to be played in New Orleans, that's why in addition to all those stats about Brady specifically and the Bucs and how much they score after a lower scoring game, that's what leans me to think that this would be an over bet for me. And actually, I mean, I'll fuck it. I'll add in the over on mine as well. I'm going over 44.
Okay, I'll give you the extra pick there.
Talk
for sure.
myself into it. Going
over on the 44. Let me put that down. Trying to do a better job this year of keeping track of these bets. We started doing it last year a little bit, but then it got derailed because, well, we didn't do a good job keeping track. But I'm going to stick with Saints plus 2.5. I'm not taking an over under there because the stats you bring up are very, very real. They're very credible. But I'm going if I'm betting this game, I'm going Saints plus the 2.5. But I'm not sure if I would put real money on this. This is a game that I'm probably going to stay away from when it comes to bets. But my pick is Saints plus 2.5.
All righty. All right. And our next game that we're going to be going into is the Panthers and the Giants. I'm going to let you take this away because I got someone at my front door that I have to shoo off. No, not they're walking away. Screw them. I don't want whatever you're selling.
Jesus,
all right.
probably.
So very possible. I saw someone wearing a man purse. So again, we have the Panthers and the Giants being played in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The line is Giants -2, over under at 43.5. Now the Panthers walked away with that loss last week versus your Brownies, and the Giants, they got themselves a win there. And I mean, is Saquon back?
He might be. Saquon could be back. I know you and I were both kind of off.
Look, I will say this. I'm kind of off on Saquon, but I had a feeling, and it's been something, especially in fantasy circles, they've been talking about him having a good year this year, looking good and everything in the offseason, looking fresh, this system working for him. And I mean, it obviously showed on the field there. I drafted Saquon in our fantasy league.
Well,
I figured
as a genius.
Yeah, as a third round pick for me in our fantasy league, I thought this is an okay spot to take him, where I'm not going to be devastated if he doesn't have a great year. But even last year before injury, he actually was putting up good numbers still. So I figured, fuck it, I'll take a flyer. The Giants go out there and get a win, 21-20 versus the Titans last week, and we know this Titans team has a relatively solid defense and a very good running game. And the Giants have just not looked great otherwise. But they were able to go out there and get that win. And so you're coming in here, got the Panthers, who I felt played against the Browns pretty well. The Browns having one of the better defenses in the league, still were able to put up points and everything, make it at least a little competitive. And the line here is Giants -2. I don't know how I feel about that with an over-under of 43.5.
Yeah, so for me, that Panthers team was a little bit better than I thought. Now, we don't have a really explosive offense, at least in the passing game. We ran all over them. So that does lend itself to Saquon having a good day, them kind of slowing the game down and limiting possibilities of mistakes from Daniel Jones. Now, Daniel Jones played a better game, but he is highly turnover prone. And Baker played decent. He played terrible in the first half. Pretty good second half, though. I was able to, get them in that game gave them the lead, and their defense just gave up too many yards, and Cade York kicked the bomb. So I like the Panthers plus the points here, because I think this will be a very, very close game. I'm not sure that anybody's going to really show up and show out here. So I'm gonna take the points with the Panthers, just because I don't know it will be. We could see another 21-20 game. Now, typically when you're getting 2 and a hook, I like going with the field goal win, but I'm not sure anybody's going to really step up. Saquon's going to have to have a really, really good game. That secondary of the Panthers is young, but they are getting much, much better. So I'm going Panthers plus the points.
Like I said,
You said it was 2.5, right?
It's -2 right now,
Okay.
according to ESPN.
What I'm looking at. Okay, yeah, got it.
Unless that's changed up.
So it is still 2 as of right now.
I didn't dislike what I saw from the Panthers last week, and I think that's more repeatable. The Giants had themselves a pretty damn good game last week, but I'm not willing to commit to saying that's going to be an every week thing for them.
I think there's a regression to the mean coming.
Yeah, I expect Saquon to still have himself a good game to get his yards and everything. I just don't know that it's going to be enough to win. I'm going to take the Panthers money line on this, just because I think that this could end up being like a field goal type of game. So I will take Panthers to win outright on this game.
Okay. All right. So Panthers money for you, Panthers +2 for me. What do we got next?
All right. We have the Patriots and the Steelers being played in Pittsburgh. The line is New England -2.5, over under of 40.5.
I'm hard on the Steelers here, and I hate doing it. I hate saying it. I don't like betting against Bill Belichick, but you know who else I don't like fucking betting against? Mike Tomlin. Those boys played fantastic defense. They were able to cause a ton of turnovers against the Bengals. I think that this Patriots offense is in absolute disarray. They do not know what they're doing. They don't know who the fuck is calling their plays. And the guy who they report is calling the plays is not an offensive coordinator. He's a defensive coordinator. Give me Mike Tomlin in that defense all day to beat the Patriots. And we said the line was where the fuck did it go?
It is -2.5 New England.
Oh, I'm going outright with the I'm taking money line Steelers here.
All right. Well,
I don't need the points. I think they win this outright.
I have some more stats for you here. All right. So Patriots as road unders are 33-16 since 2016. They are also, I'll say this: the under is 9-3 in the Steelers' last 12 September games. All right. So a little conflicting there. Look, the Patriots I didn't think looked good at all versus Miami last week, but we talked about that last week. Miami always seems to have the Patriots number, especially down in Miami. That is an offense that is going to definitely be reinvigorated. I was surprised that Tariq did as well as he did. He actually made, some pretty damn athletic catches and everything. Tua didn't look great. He's Tua. But he was able to get it done and absolutely throttle the Patriots there. I'll say this about the Steelers. I think that the Steelers are frauds. TJ Watt being hurt, pec injury. I know they're saying he'll be back in like 6 to 8 weeks or whatever.
That's a quick turnaround, in my opinion.
Extremely quick. This Watt family, we've seen how as they age, they get these injuries and stuff like that. Like, if he comes back in that time, he will re-injure it. He will not be playing much after. Like, those pec injuries, I've seen it with my Vikings players. They get a pec injury and they're out for the season. It's not something easy to come back from. He won't be his same self. He'll re-injure. And then put it this way, all right? The Bengals versus the Steelers last week, Joe Burrow, 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions, and a fumble, all right? And it still took the Steelers overtime. It took the Steelers having the Bengals without a long snapper and missing field goals because of that Took all of that for the Steelers to get a win. The Steelers should be scared as fuck. Because if it took all of that stuff going for them and they still only barely won against the Bengals, I'm not trusting the Steelers to be able to repeat that on any sort of consistent basis. The difference is that the Bengals are a way better team than the Patriots.
Way better.
If I had the option to not bet this one, I would. But I'm taking New England -2.5 on this one. Because I think the Steelers
and a cover,
are a fraud.
Not just a money line. You're taking them to cover.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are a fraud team from last week. They're one of those that Steelers fans are going to be overhyping the fact that they beat the Bengals, when in reality, the Bengals beat themselves.
Yeah,
it wasn't the Steelers beating them.
True.
And even then, the Bengals only barely lost. They should have won the game. If they had a long snapper, they won the game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
If I'm the Steelers, I'm not, and you still only put up 20 points?
Yeah, not a lot of points,
or 23 points. That the last field goal is what got him to 23. I'd be a little scared if I'm the Steelers. Najee Harris is going to play.
Yes,
he's carried, I believe, a Liz Frank injury from camp, and that's what was aggravated. That's obviously not going away. So. The Steelers, I'm not big on their backup running backs either. I believe they still have Benny Snell there, but he's the third guy. That I'm taking the Patriots on this one, and I don't think the Patriots are that good of a team.
All right, Patriots on the cover. I'm going Pittsburgh on the money line. So we are on two wildly opposite ends of the spectrum there. But all right, that's good. I mean, we were fairly close in week one. I swear, if that tie comes back and I win the overall season matchup, I'd laugh. But also, it got me kicked out of a survivor pool because I took Indy to win that fucking game, and because they tied, I didn't survive. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was not very happy about that.
All right, next we have the Colts versus the Jaguars. This is being played in Jacksonville. The line is Indy -3. This has changed, and I'm surprised that Indy is still a favorite, honestly, over under a 45. All right. That Jaguars team could have beaten the Commanders last week. The Colts go out and have a tie versus the Texans. I don't expect that to be the same Colts. Michael Pittman is out.
Yeah, he has no. They have no weapons.
Michael Pierce is out. Alec Pierce is out. Alec Pierce dropped an easy touchdown. The Colts had, I believe, at least 2 dropped touchdown passes on drives that ended up not converting. The Colts are a better team, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Pittman's out. Pierce is out. Those are their 2 top receiving options in my mind. You still have Shaq Leonard out. So the Colts are going to have to be heavy on the run this game. And Matt Ryan settled down and looked a little bit better towards the end of the game. But after tying with the Texans, who are definitely a surprise, they played well last week. Mm-hmm. Then the Jaguars, they're just still finding their footing with a new head coach.
They're getting better, but
with Doug Peterson, figuring out how to use Etienne. I called it. James Robinson had himself a damn fine week, and Joe Kamai should have listened to the show. I know he listened to the show initially and put his James Robinson in his starting lineup against me, and then right before the game started, he took him out. You should have left him in. You might have had a chance against me. Not really. I still whooped his ass. But James Robinson had himself a good week. They're figuring out what to do with Etienne. Etienne had a drop. I believe a drop that could have been a touchdown as well. Jaguars team is going to be better. This is the time for the Jaguars to get a win versus this Colts team, because normally they won't do it unless it's the end of the year last year.
Right.
Indy -3. I'm taking Jags +3 on this one.
Jags +3.
Yeah. That's that Colts offense, it scares the shit out of me at this point. With all those guys out, I don't know if Jonathan Taylor can carry the whole load.
So this is a game that, for me, should be a cakewalk. Like, the Indy should beat the shit out of them.
They should. I believe they were like -7 before.
Their defense is really, really fucking good. Even when they're missing pieces, they're really good. Losing your top weapons, though, is so fucking tough. Matt Ryan is going to have to depend on that run game. But I think that the Jags' run defense wasn't very good. I mean, Antonio Gibson, a guy who was in a doghouse last week, had a pretty goddamn, who was in the doghouse in preseason and camp, had a pretty goddamn good week. Like,
Yeah,
I think the
14
running backs
rushes, 58 yards. You also saw Curtis Samuels with 4 rushes for 17 yards as a wide receiver. Wentz had himself 12 yards, and McKissick only 3 rushes for 8 yards, but McKissick's more the receiving back. And Gibson ended up getting 7 catches for 72 yards. That's really where Gibson kills you.
I think that this will be a closer game. The line is obviously saying that this will be a closer game. I don't think that Indy is going to not get wins back-to-back weeks. I think they will find a way to make it happen. I do not think they will cover. I think this game will be close. I am going to agree with Vegas on that. But I think Indy does find a way to get a fucking win finally and start getting this team going in the right direction. A team that I think both of us expected to be pretty damn good this year.
Look, if they're going to take these losses, which I count last week as a loss. If you tie the Texans, I count it as a loss to me. But start off the year 0-1-1. I mean, this is, I guess, the time to do it. Let people sleep on you a little bit and let those guys get healthy. It's going to suck losing to the Jags if you lose to the Jaguars. But
after you get knocked out by the Jags last year and then you lose the next game, God, I can't see it happening.
To be completely, I want the Colts to win this game, but like I said, I'm going to take the Jags plus the points because I think it could be closer. I think Indy wins, but Jags cover. Like the Colts are the better team. They are the better team. There's no doubt in my mind that they're the better team. But with all those players out and stuff like that being played in Jacksonville, I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah, well, I'm going Indy money line. I'm not getting off of it. I think they get a bounce back, but this will be a closer game. The line is obviously moved, and Michael Pittman going down is a tough thing for that fucking offense.
Yeah, because he definitely looked like the number one last week. He looked like the number one last year. I mean, Michael Pittman's a stud, and having a good quarterback there now is a big help. Big help for sure. All right, our next game, Miami Dolphins.
Hey, before you do that, I don't know if he's watching, but we have a new member to the Facebook group, Carson Gurr. Thank you for hopping in. Thank you for allowing us to use your clip, man. I'm sending out the post right now. Appreciate you letting us do that. Hopefully we can get you a little bit more exposure. Ball out, kid. Just keep balling out. Do your thing. But hey, thanks for hopping on the socials.
Absolutely. All right. Another 10 a.m. game, at least 10 a.m. my time. Early game. Dolphins and Ravens being played in Baltimore, Maryland. The line is Baltimore minus 3.5. Over under of 44.5. This is a Ravens team that went out and, as expected, shit on a Joe Flacco-led Jets team. Yeah. And then a Dolphins team, like we alluded to earlier, that went out and kind of shit on, not as big of a shit, but shit on the Patriots. Again, they've had their number.
They put it to them the entire game. They had a defensive touchdown.
Yep.
Like, they played really fucking well.
Yeah. Now, stats here. Tua and the Tuanon crowd, they are 7-3-1 against the spread as an underdog. All right. In his entire career, that is. And then when getting more than 3 points, when getting more than 3 points, Baltimore is undefeated against the spread. Excuse me. Dolphins.
Miami. Okay.
Miami. Tua. I forgot to put that little bit in there. Tua, when getting more than 3 points against the spread, is undefeated. He's 5-0 in his career.
Okay.
This is a tough one for me as well, because I liked what I saw out of the Dolphins last week against Pittsburgh, who Bill Belichick is pretty damn good at coaching his team, even if he has lesser talent and stuff on it. They always put out a good defense, and they were still able to, put up 20 points against a Bill Belichick-led defense. And Baltimore, I mean, they didn't shock me with anything that they did.
No, but they were playing the Jets.
They're playing the Jets. So it's kind of like, dude, can we really take that game film and anything that happened from week one with the Ravens and really take it to the bank? I mean, I'll say this. I didn't think Baltimore's run game looked that great last week against that Jets defense. Honestly, let me pull up here and see if I'm correct in that.
Dobbins was still
assertion.
banged up. Did he even fucking really play last week? I don't think he played very much, if he did at all. I did not watch any of this game. So
Dobbins did not have any rushes at all.
I don't think he played. I think
as a team, including Lamar Jackson, as a team, the Ravens only put up 63 rushing yards, with 17 of those coming from Lamar Jackson. Kenyon Drake had 11 carries for 31 yards, so they really didn't do much rushing. And then passing, I mean, only 213 passing yards as well. 3 touchdowns and an interception, but not a whole lot of passing. So it's like the Ravens won 24-9 last week. I expected them to throttle the Jets a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
I would have expected more as well, but I was really looking forward to that fucking anytime touchdown from Lamar that never goddamn came.
And we have a comment here.
Rodney, that's our guy. He's a big piney coach here. Wants to say thanks. Hey, thank you, man. We appreciate that. If you got more athletes, you know of anybody else, other coaches around the area who want to highlight players, send them to us, man. We love youth sports here. I am a dad of 3. I have coached youth sports for a very long time. I still consider high school to be youth sports. I mean, 'cause we're not to the point where you're getting any kind of profit from it. You're doing it because you love it. So keep sending those guys our way, man. And we are super excited to be able to highlight Carson today. So thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Coach. So back to this Baltimore and Miami game. I didn't think that Baltimore put it on the Jets like they should have. I think that it's tough. You get the mindset from last year still, the hangover.
The Jets are the Jets, and they're going to be fucking awful. And
that's part of it. And also that the Ravens are a better team than the Dolphins is what's stuck in my head, but maybe they're not. This game could be a lot closer. I'm taking the Dolphins plus the points in this one.
Dolphins plus the points?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm taking all these underdogs here. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I mean, hey, you're getting the points. So I don't know if it counts as an underdog. And listen, I'm right there with you. I think that the Dolphins, they surprised me a little bit like last week. They played way better than I thought. Tua had actually a pretty decent game. I don't think that Patriots defense is as good as this Baltimore Ravens defense is, though. And if we're going to talk about frauds, I think Tua is a fraud. I think that he is being really, really elevated by his coach and some of the play calling. I think that the Ravens will be able to get more pressure on Tua, and he's going to struggle there.
No, Tua's line last week, 23 for 33, 270 yards and 1 touchdown. He was also sacked 3 times. Quarterback rating is 74.7. I don't know that I'm going to say that Tua is a fraud. I think Tua is what he is. I think I think the claims about him from the coaches and players around him are the fraudulent part of it.
Okay. All right. So yes. The most accurate guy. I'd rather have the most accurate ball I've ever caught rather than a fucking laser rocket arm coming from Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here, Tyreek. It's all bullshit. We can see right through it. Like, don't get me wrong. Hey, pump your podcast. Say those things on your podcast and get fucking people watching. Sometimes I get a little crazy on this podcast because I want people to watch. I cut my fucking sleeves off last week. Like, I get that. But it's not, none of that is true. I think that Tua is not that good. He wasn't great last week. The passes that he did throw, that he did complete, he didn't really stretch the field when he's got 2 guys that are really good at stretching the field. Now, what happened was that Jalen Waddle has got a fucking ton of wiggle and was able to, navigate the middle of that field and get extra yards. I don't know if that happens against this Baltimore Ravens team. I think that
Waddle 4 catches, 69 yards, favorite number, favorite position, and 1 touchdown. But his longest catch there was 42 yards. So obviously he made something out of one of those catches.
Yeah, but that 42 yard that came on something underneath, and he was able to break tackles and use his speed. Like that didn't come from a deep ball.
And that's Waddle, and that's what you have to do with Tua, because we all know he doesn't have the arm to be putting these balls downfield. You need someone who is accurate enough to throw the underneath route, but who can also gun it and give Tyreek a chance to go burn someone.
Yeah, I don't think that
It's not Tua.
are going to be able to do that. I don't think they're going to be able to do that against this Baltimore team. I think Baltimore is the far superior team in this game. So I am going to go. Man, do I want to take the cover?
I think Tua is an average quarterback.
3.5. I don't like the hook. Ugh. Fuck. I'm going Baltimore on the money line. I thought about doing the cover. I don't know if they will be able to. It might be closer. There might be a late cover. I'm not gonna get backdoor covered this week. I'm going Baltimore money line. I think they're the superior team. They should win this game.
All righty. Next up, we have our afternoon slate of games. You have the Falcons playing the Rams in Inglewood, California. This is going out to LA. The line, big one here, Rams -10, over under at 46.5. This is from last year. I don't like when lines are this big.
I know.
The Rams are a better team. They did not look good against the Bills. The Bills are the best team in the NFL, in my opinion. Yes. They did not look good against the Bills. What do you expect? All right. But the Falcons, they actually showed up. They looked pretty damn, competitive.
Mariota played well. Not a world beater, nothing, spectacular, but
he played like Tua.
He looked average. He looked serviceable. Yeah. Like, I don't know if we've seen that really smart, serviceable quarterback play out of Mariota in quite some time. Obviously, he hasn't had a ton of opportunities, but he looked like he is now a veteran guy. He knows how to deal with an offense, run an offense. I think his time in Vegas probably helped him. This is not this game. I hate this game. More so, I hate this fucking line. Well, the Rams are way better.
I'm making it easy on myself. I'm taking the Rams for the outright win, just the money line.
Money line, okay. Yeah.
I'm not fucking with that spread.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to have to do the same thing. The Rams are the better team. The Rams should and probably will win this game. I'm not fucking around with that with the spread because it's too many. The Falcons look pretty good. The Rams look terrible. I don't know that we're going to see some sort of revelation, and I am still very much worried about Stafford's arm, his elbow, and his arm strength. That doesn't mean they can't beat the Falcons. The Falcons are not great on defense, especially in their back end and really a linebacker. They're really bad at linebacker.
Look, if the Rams' offensive line is able to hold up a little bit better than they did last week,
they're not going to face anywhere similar type pass rush.
Yeah, if they're able to do that, and he's able to actually spread the ball around to, I don't know, Allen Robinson, not just all the white guys on the team, Skoranek and Cup.
I saw the Stafford's racist tweets coming out.
So but I mean, let's be real. Allen Robinson, if you go back and watch Allen Robinson,
he was open so many times,
and they just did not give him the ball. All right, get it. You got Cup. He was phenomenal last year.
Hey, Allen Robinson better be at that fucking 6 a.m. breakfast with Stafford this week.
There's no way that an NFL quarterback and an NFL offense led by McVay doesn't go in, look at the film, and say, "What the fuck? Why weren't we throwing this guy?" Sorry, I'm allergic to fucking horrible passing games by guys. Why the fuck open? I mean, not feeding Robinson just made no sense. They're gonna fix that. They're gonna fix it. They have to.
Yeah.
So the Rams will win this game. The Falcons are better than a -10 point spread there. That's
a lot.
But I'm not touching it.
I'm going to put it. I'm going to do a teaser this week. I like the Falcons, and I'm probably going to do a +6 teaser. I think the Falcons can keep it within a touchdown. So +6 points gives me a Falcons +16.
Yeah,
like that. There's no, even if they do get their asses beat, I don't think they're getting killed by 16. I'm putting them in a teaser, and I got a couple other ones with some big spreads, and I'm going to put it in a teaser because I think there's some money to be made there. I think that's what I'm going to start doing when we see these big-ass spreads. I'm going to start tossing these into teasers, buying extra points, and then I'll take my nice little chunk of change down.
All righty. Moving on, we have the Seahawks and the 49ers. being played in Santa Clara, California. So this line is San Francisco minus 9.5 with an over-under of 40.5. Now, these were 2 games last week that I don't think we expected to happen. The Seahawks went out and, they beat the Broncos. They beat the Broncos.
But
the Broncos kind of beat themselves too.
You know what? Let's ride.
Let's ride. Maybe the worst coached game I've fucking seen. The Broncos beat themselves. Fumbles on the goal line, turning over on the goal line, and then that last minute of the game was fucking ridiculous, man.
That was the worst clock management I think I have ever seen a fucking highly paid NFL coach do. Like, that might be worse than some of the college games. That might be worse than some of the high school games I've watched on clock management at the end of the fucking game. And I don't know if you saw the Manning cast. Mm-hmm. Peyton is losing his fucking mind. Like, timeout. Let's get one here. Come on. Time. He said it like, I think they counted it like 56 fucking times. If Peyton Manning is saying to call a timeout, I know I'm going to listen to him the first fucking time he says it. Now, granted, Hackett doesn't hear that, but Jesus Christ.
This is what happens when you hire a former Packers.
I knew it was coming.
Offensive assistant. You get this bullshit. Look, everyone was calling for a timeout there. All right. But let's put it this way. Okay. You just paid, 200 plus odd million for your quarterback, right?
Like 56.
And it's a 4th and 5, right? I believe the conversion percentage for an average NFL quarterback on a 4th and 5 is somewhere around 65 to 70%. Okay. I actually heard the stats for this on a previous pod that I listened to earlier this week. I just can't remember them exactly. All right. But I'm in the ballpark. We'll just say 65% conversion rate. All right. Better than a coin flip.
Even if you give me 50%, that's better than the odds of making a fucking 64?
Yeah. So 64-yarder, you're looking at sub 10%.
Yeah.
All right. So
analytics guys use it a little bit.
The right choice is to go out there and run a play with Russ Wilson and try to get the first down. All right. We'll set that aside. Coaching mistake 1, we'll set that aside. Coaching mistake 2, let's say you decide you want to go for the field goal, right? You have enough time to rush your kicking unit out there on that 4th down without calling a timeout. Kick the field goal. If you get it, awesome. If you don't, then the Seahawks get the ball back. You have 3 timeouts.
Instead of 2.
If your defense is able to hold Seattle to that 3 and out, you're able to stop the clock, and you have a chance at a punt return for a touchdown and a Hail Mary at the end. All right.
The same goddamn difference is kicking a 64-yarder.
That's a very big nutted move if that's what you're going to try to do. But if you're going to go for the field goal, that's what you do. You don't let the clock run out and then call a field goal once your play clock is down.
Yeah, because if you don't make it, the game is over. There's no possibility where you have a chance to win if he doesn't make a 64-yarder where he has less than a fucking 20% chance to make.
Absolutely.
There were so many better fucking options. Like, analytics is a tool that sometimes is overused.
Sorry, baby.
Yeah.
It was like that coaching was atrocious.
Yeah, Hackett has been under fire all week, and I don't know that it's going to stop anytime. Yeah, there we go. Yep, already 1 game in, fire his ass.
I bet you everybody in Denver wants him fired. All right, but that's what happens when Walmart is your ownership now. You get these discount fucking budget coaches in there, great value fucking coaches from the Green Bay Packers.
Well, you should have rolled back that fucking idea of kicking a 64-yarder.
Yeah,
because that was a terrible decision.
We'll get back to this game, all right? The Broncos are a better team, right?
Yes. We're talking about a completely different game and we got sidetracked.
Yes. All right. Broncos are a better team, but we're talking about the Seahawks and 49ers. The Seahawks went out and played all right, but like that Broncos team did not look like they were ready. No, I mean, Geno completed like all of his passes on his first couple drives or something like that.
Oh, like, yeah. He was at one point 100% through like his first 15 or
he's efficient against a fucking Broncos defense that has been very good and only got better with the personnel that they brought in. The Broncos just didn't look like they looked like they were thinking they were still in the preseason or that they were just going to roll over the Seahawks and weren't taking it seriously. And I don't get it. So the Seahawks, congrats on your win, but I still think you are one of the bottom 2 teams in the league.
I think they're bad as well.
And then you have
that
the 49ers.
Is not the Geno we will see week in and week out.
You have the 49ers going into Chicago, playing in this game and not looking very good. Now, this is kind of the dichotomy here, all right?
This is the hardest game to judge because Seattle played out of their minds. It had a little bit to do with Russ coming in. And the 49ers played really bad under some awful fucking conditions.
Yes and no. The first 2.5 quarters of that game, it wasn't that bad. It was light misty, but it wasn't that bad. Now the last quarter and a half, monsoon conditions. All right. And that's when Chicago was able to go out and put the game away. Trey Lance out there, 13 to 28, 164 yards and an interception, did not look good. As a guy from Minnesota who played at NDSU, knows how to play outdoors, you should be able to play a little bit better in the weather than that, especially when you got legs. Now, he did have 13 carries for 54 yards, not all of them designed. All right. You should have been able to do better than that.
Yeah.
The 49ers should be a decent rushing team. Now, Elijah Mitchell, yes, went down for a while, but he was 6 carries, 41 yards. Deebo Samuels, 8 carries, 52 yards and a touchdown. Lance, 54 yards on 13 carries. And then you have your backup in Jeff Wilson, 9 carries, 22 yards, and he's going to probably be getting the bulk of the workload here going forward.
Yeah, I picked him up in fantasy.
If we're going to call this a bad weather game, San Francisco should have been able to switch to primarily running the ball. They already run a West Coast scheme, which isn't deep passing.
Yeah, a wide zone West Coast scheme. It's fucking really good for that kind of weather.
I'm a little bit worried that this narrative is getting played out that it was a bad weather game and that's why Chicago won. I think that the 49ers just did not play a good game in general. Weather definitely affected it in the end, but for a majority of the game, it didn't. So it's so tough for me to say what's going to happen here in this game, 49ers Seahawks. I just have to fall back on the rosters and the coaching. Like, no shit against Pete Carroll, but you just don't have the guys there. Jamal Adams is out for the year now for the Seahawks. Like, that was the heart and soul of your defense. The 49ers are a top to bottom better team, even at quarterback, which I'm not sold on Trey Lance. And you know that people in San Fran
for the 49ers fans aren't sold on fucking Trey Lance.
They're going to be calling for Jimmy G all game. Yeah. If he comes out and looks bad, they're going to be calling for Jimmy G hard.
We knew it wasn't going to take long.
So for me, again, this line of -9.5, not fucking touching it. I'm just taking the 49ers money line.
49ers money line. I believe, and I agree with you. I believe that the 49ers absolutely will win this game. I believe that they are the better team. Top to bottom, the Seahawks played out of their minds. I believe that revenge game was not a revenge game for Russ. It was a revenge game for Seattle and their fans and those other guys on that field because they felt like they were cast aside by Russ. That's where the revenge game was. It wasn't a Russ revenge game. It was a Seattle revenge game.
Absolutely. And a little bit of the big dick energy makes you want to take Seattle plus 9.5 points because that's a lot. And I don't feel like 49ers are a blowout team. I don't feel like they go out and blow people out. And so it kind of makes me want to take that, but I'm not going to. I just can't.
I am taking it. I'm taking Seattle with the points. That is way too many.
All right.
That is for this pick. However, this is another game I'm tossing in my teaser. Fucking Seattle. I'm getting the +6 teaser. That gives me Seattle +3.5. I don't think there's any way that the 49ers go out there and beat the fuck out of them. Not based on what I saw. So I'm tossing Seattle in a teaser that I'll try to post at some point on all the teams that I'm taking in that teaser. But I'm taking Seattle plus the points. 9.5 is a lot, and neither one of those teams are really good yet. And Trey has to step up unless he's ready to have all of those conversations week in and week out about Jimmy coming to take the fucking job back. That honestly, Jimmy thought that he probably deserved anyways. The only reason I think he lost that job is because they spent 3 first-round picks on him.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons that he agreed to stay in San Francisco with a massive incentive on playing time.
Now, as an aside, did you see the Trey Lance video?
Oh,
With the strippers?
I did. Hey,
seems like he's enjoying
win
himself.
or lose, we still booze and we fucking sling cash on strippers' ass.
Hey, it's probably the quality of stripper is probably a little bit different when you're talking between North Dakota and California. So he's probably enjoying himself there. All right, we'll move on to our next afternoon game. Bengals and Cowboys being played in Arlington. Cincinnati -7 is your line. Over under of 41.5. This again, Cowboys team that is reeling. Dak Prescott out. At least 6 weeks probably. Gallup not playing. Still don't have your left tackle.
Zeke looks old and slow.
A team that was only able to put up 3 points last week with a starting quarterback. I know there's a lot of shit going on now, especially from Cowboys fans saying that Dak is overrated. Dak is done. We need to move on, blah, blah, blah. I'm seeing shit saying Cooper Rush is the next Tom Brady, which is some absolute horseshit.
Hey, you got to rally behind your guy, right?
I guess, but still. And then you have this Bengals team who is embarrassed. They're embarrassed to have lost versus the Steelers.
They won that game if they're not missing the one of the only positions on a football team that you can't fucking replace. Like we talk about punters, kickers, right? If you lose a punter, your kicker can probably punt a little bit. Not going to be great, but he can punt. Vice versa, if your kicker goes down, your punter can probably go in there. He's probably kicked field goals at some point in his life. He might be able to pull it out.
We saw
or you can pull off your fucking safety who just bombs balls for the Chiefs, right?
Out the back of the end zone on kickoffs.
Yeah, through the uprights. I don't know there's a lot of those guys out there, but normally when one of those specialists goes out, you have a guy that can kind of come in and take care of some of the light work. When you lose a long snapper, there are not many guys who have ever trained long snapping. I'm not sure. I mean, you could maybe get your center to do it, but I don't know that there's a lot of centers that have long snapped since probably high school.
Yeah.
And it's going to mess up the entire operation because a long snapper's job, I did not realize this is something that I picked up from Pat McAfee and the boys. A long snapper is supposed to put a certain amount of rotations on that snap. Getting the laces away from the kicker is not on the holder. That is on the snapper. You're supposed to have a specific amount of rotations every time you snap it. Yeah. That way, when you catch it, you put it down. You have to maybe make a little quarter turn. You're not spinning the whole fucking thing.
The holder is the second adjustment as needed. But the hope is with a good snapper, there's a correct amount of rotation so that way the laces are in the correct spot for sure. Look, the same reason why I talked about the Steelers the way I did, same thing with the Bengals here, all right? They were the AFC representation in the Super Bowl last year. They've gotten better this offseason. Their line didn't look as good as it should have for what they put into it.
No.
But
good Pittsburgh D, though.
This is also Burrow's first action. 4 picks is not going to happen for Burrow again.
No.
All right? And a fumble. The fumble could always happen. You never know. And they still almost won that game. The only thing that I can say about the Bengals is that they fucked up by just not going for 2. Once you have that long snapper go out and you know it, you should be able to see on the sideline whoever your backup long snapper is at that point, see that it's not happening.
If the operation doesn't work, just
go for 2. And in the first time that it doesn't happen, like you go out there, you try to kick, what was the extra point?
Yeah.
And you miss. Cool. All right. Now we know.
Decision made. We're going for 2.
We're going for 2. All right. So that's where the Bengals kind of fucked up there, but they're a much better team than Dallas at this point. I've got Burrow's going to be pissed that he had that sort of a showing last week. I was real worried because he's my fantasy quarterback. He still put up fucking damn good points for me, despite 4 interceptions and a fumble. So, he still almost put up 20 points, I believe, for me. The interesting thing with the Bengals is that you do have, I believe it was T. Higgins goes down.
Yeah, that's a big loss.
It is, but they have such a deep receiving core that
They do.
it ain't gonna matter. All right.
I really like Tyler Boyd.
Which he got dropped in our league. I wish I had a bench spot for him.
I don't need any receivers, otherwise I'd have fucking picked them up. My receivers are better.
I mean, I'm at the point right now where it's like I will take him off of the waiver wire just so no one else can use him.
I will dude. I'm about ready to drop to my knees and fucking take one to the face to get a goddamn running back.
I mean, I offered you a trade.
Yeah, fuck you. I ain't giving up Jettis. You ain't getting Jettis.
You need a running back.
I don't need Saquon that bad.
And I was going to give you back starting caliber wide receivers and a starting caliber running back. Top 3 in the league last week.
I'm not giving up Jettis. I'm not trading my first fucking pick after the first week.
Potential league MVP.
Yeah.
NFL and fantasy. Yeah. So the line here, Cincinnati -7. I absolutely believe that Cincinnati is going to be able to cover that. Still too big of a spread for me at this point. I'm taking Cincy to win money line.
Cincy money line. So I don't know that this line is big enough based on the horrible things that are happening around that Cowboys team. They are decimated with fucking injuries. And they just lost their franchise guy in Dak. I don't think that I thought this was going to be way lower. I'm sorry, way bigger of a spread. I was expecting 10 plus. I did
see one meme out there. I saw one meme out there that I thought was interesting, and it was like, I think Cowboys won't do it, but it actually would make me kind of think like, oh, Dallas at least is interesting at this point. And it was a meme saying, go out and sign Cam Newton and go out and sign OBJ right now. And then that kind of flips it. It gives you, once Gallup is back, 3 solid receivers. Gallup, CD,
once
and OBJ
is back, I don't think OBJ is ready to play.
I don't know.
I don't think he is. I mean, he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. He's probably not ready till week 11.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure that he's still squatting, taking shits on chests and stuff like that, or whatever, getting his chest shit on, whatever it is. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. No, it's one of those Dallas memes that people are putting out like, this will save our season. And I was like, this is kind of funny. But I mean, I'd tune in to watch.
Well, and Cap's not getting signed either based on his last workout. That dream's dead.
No, not Kaepernick.
Cam. Okay, I thought you said Cap.
Kaepernick.
I did see one about Cap.
It ain't even about his last workout. The jury's not bringing in a guy who's kneeling for the anthem. It's just not jury's way.
Yeah. Okay. So Jerry will put on a brave face and look fancy when we're all holding hands. But yeah, he's not going to bring one in.
Right.
That would play awful in Texas. And listen, whatever the political aspects are, that's just a fact. That will never play in Texas.
No.
But I'm totally in on Cincinnati minus the points. Cincinnati's so much fucking better than what we saw in week 1.
Yep.
And the Cowboys are absolutely reeling. Too many fucking injuries. You're down to Cooper Rush. Like I said, I don't know a lot about Cooper Rush other than he is a backup that nobody knows about. Nobody talks about him in vain.
He beat my Vikings last year. On Halloween, I believe.
I think your Vikings beat your Vikings last year. And I don't know that Cooper Rush.
That's where I'm at. We gave away that game. It was probably one of our most, if not our most embarrassing loss last year. We just did not play well at all.
Yeah, I'm not on.
I think
Cooper
the Cowboys
Rush.
need to go out and bring back their former backup Ben DiNucci from from James Madison University. All have faith in DiNucci and his submarine throw. But that's just me. All right, so moving on to our next game, we have the Texans and the Broncos being played in Empower Field at Mile High in Denver, Colorado. The line, another big one here, Denver -10 over under a 45.
By the way, tossing, if you're keeping track of the teaser, we are tossing fucking Cincinnati in that teaser. If it's 7 points and up, we're tossing that shit in a teaser because they're definitely winning by at least 1. Cincinnati's for sure winning. This will not end in a tie. I like my teaser this week. I don't typically play teasers, but when I saw these massive lines, I was like, you know what? This is the perfect time to play a teaser.
All righty. So Texans going into Mile High here in Denver. The line Denver -10. It's another big one with an over/under of 45. Broncos, better team. They should have won last week if it wasn't for absolutely horrible coaching and losing the ball on the goal line. I will say their offense in the beginning of the game just did not look good either. They were not clicking. But the Broncos are the better team. I can't get my faith in the Texans right now. I mean, props to Davis Mills. He had himself a pretty decent game. And props to the Texans in general for being able to hold it out there with the Colts. But I don't think that the Texans are going to be able to go into Mile High and be able to take one away from the Broncos here. So for me, I'm not taking Denver -10. I'm not touching those big spreads. I know that you're going to have this probably be part of your teaser.
Yes,
I'm taking the Broncos to win. If this line was like 6.5, then I'm definitely taking the Broncos 6.5. But as of right now, I'm just taking the Broncos money line to win this game.
Okay, so I'm right there with you. I'm going Broncos money line. I think they are better. And I don't necessarily. This is tough for me. I'm conflicted. Davis Mills is going to make probably $50 million in his career in the NFL. But he's going to do that as a career backup. That's what he is. But he's a pretty goddamn good career backup. He reminds me a lot of a Colt McCoy guy, a fucking Ryan Fitzpatrick kind of guy. He hangs around, plays decent ball, but he's never going to be the guy that I think that you want to be your starter. But he will always be able to come in and he'll go get you a game. He'll keep you close. He'll fucking go tie the Indianapolis Colts when he had no business doing it. That doesn't mean that this Texans team is as good as they were in week 1 against the Colts. I think the Colts are a better team than the Broncos. Honestly, I think that there was a big hangover for the Broncos, specifically Russ going back in there. I think there was a ton of pressure, and he kind of folded under the pressure a little bit, which is not something that we would typically say about Russ. But you could see that Russ is not the same dude that won a Super Bowl on his rookie contract.
I think they wildly overpaid him. I wasn't sure about Russ in the first place. I thought that this is going to be another one of those situations where the Broncos bring in a veteran quarterback like a Peyton and are able to get play out of him.
Good, solid play, but I think they're expecting franchise like world beater type quarterback play out of Russ.
And I don't know that Russ has that anymore. Yeah, I don't think he has that in him anymore. So their season and future really hinges on him getting back to at least 80% of his form. And we didn't see that last week. So it'll be interesting to watch and see. This is going to be a much better litmus test, I think, as to whether or not the Broncos are going to have a good year or not. But top to bottom, better team. If Russ plays to that potential, absolutely better team. So Broncos winning this one for me.
Me too. Broncos money line, but this is going in the teaser. I am taking the Texans on a teaser because I do think the Texans have the ability to keep this game close. This game is at what we said, 9.5 or 10? What is it at? 10? 10. I think they keep this within a touchdown. I think they could. Yeah, so that would be what? Plus 16 for the Texans. I feel really good about fucking Texans plus 16. Even if Russ comes out and balls out, I don't know that team is that much better than the Texans. So if you're keeping track of the teaser, Texans in the teaser gives them the plus 16. I feel so good about that. And now, granted, teasers don't pay a ton of money, but when you got these massive spreads, we're going to have to see somebody's ass get beat for this thing to not pay.
Yeah. All right, next game, we have the Cardinals and the Raiders being played in Las Vegas. The line is Las Vegas -5.5, over under a 51.5. Before we get into our less than quantifiable stats and anecdotes here, Cliff Kingsbury is 13-3-2 as a road underdog in his career. However, Derek Carr is 7-13 as a home favorite in his career, and Derek Carr is only covered as a home favorite once with a spread of 4 or more points. Again, the spread right now is -5.5 for Vegas. Yep. So all signs are pointing to the Cardinals being able to win this game. However, Kyler Murray, as we talked about, big Call of Duty fan. He is part of an esports league team.
I gotta pull up the stat. I gotta find it again.
They had
it was ridiculous.
All the stuff in his contract about needing to do game session time, not being able to have anything else going on in the background, i.e. Call of Duty gameplay or anything like that. I got Vegas winning this game. I'm not going to go -5.5, despite basically everything stat-wise that I just gave you to the contrary that Cardinals should win. Rondale Moore is out still. You still don't have D-Hop.
And you have a terrible secondary in Carolina. In Arizona. That
the worst in the league. The worst in the league. Which is why the Chiefs stats look so inflated.
And you got fucking Devontae on the other side, still reacclimating to his quarterback.
Devontae, Waller. You've got white guy that looks like a nerd. You've got
I called him Hunter Henry last week, but that is not
Renfro.
the correct name.
Yes,
Hunter Renfro.
You got a lot of passing options there for the Raiders. They didn't really get their running game going, but again, in this game, you don't need to. You can just pass all over. Carr's going to throw an interception here or there. I mean, he threw 3 last week. He'll start to get those numbers down a little bit, which will be surprising against this Cardinals team, which is, again, real bad secondary. But it's because he's going to go out there and throw 40 to 50 passes because they're going to be able to get what they want in their passing game against this Cardinals secondary. I got the Cardinals losing this one, Raiders winning. Because it's 5.5, I'm not willing to take that spread. If it was 5, I would. So I'm taking Raiders to win money line.
Vegas money line, and I am on this same boat. The Cardinal secondary is awful. They have so many weapons on that Vegas team. I think that Derek Carr is a very good quarterback. He is a top 10 quarterback in this league. He is not elite, but he is one of your right under the elite group. That's where Derek Carr falls. They're very, very fucking good.
An unfortunate comp, but Derek Carr is like Brett Favre in that he has a strong arm. He likes to throw the ball around. He will be wild with it, and that's going to result in some turnovers.
He will make some mistakes. He will get a little reckless with the ball every once in a while. I'm not sure if there's a guy in that Cardinal secondary that makes him pay for it, though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So I'm on Vegas money line as well, and I have a nice little interesting stat as well. So we talked a lot about Call of Duty and things like that. Now, it doesn't perfectly line up with this stat, but Kyler Murray is 0-47 when Call of Duty has a double XP weekend.
What did they have last weekend?
Last weekend, that trend held true. He went from 0-46 to 0-47. We just talked about Call of Duty is coming out with a brand new beta for their new game on PlayStation. And you know what platform that Kyler Murray plays on?
I'm assuming PlayStation.
He plays on PlayStation.
This is surprising. I would think that he would be playing on PC just because he's got the money to build himself a PC.
That looks like a PlayStation to me. But it is wired. Oh man, that might either way, I don't care.
All right. Let me real quick here. So today is the 17th, yes. So early access is for PlayStation September 16th through 17th, and then it's open to all PlayStation players September 18th through the 20th. It is next weekend, the 22nd through 23rd, where Xbox, Battle.net, PC, PlayStation, it's open to everybody. All right. Either way, if he's a PC player, he can play on a PlayStation. It's not like he's not going to be able to go out and pick up a PlayStation and play it. He's going to be playing it just because.
He's going to be on the beta. He's going to be on the beta this weekend for sure. Yeah. I'm off Kyler Murray anytime. Dave, our $20 is $20. Our dude has been, given directive to, hey, anytime that there is something going on with fucking Call of Duty, you let us know, because you know what we're doing? We're betting against the motherfucking Cardinals. Like, I have no problem using some outlandish stats like this, like asinine things, to bet my money. Now, if you are not willing to do that, understandable. There's a brand new beta out on Call of Duty. It starts this weekend. Kyler will probably be finding a way to play that shit that's been going on for the last couple days, or started yesterday. I'm out on the Cardinals. Fucking out.
If the Cardinals
I'm
were
on.
playing, if the Cardinals were playing the Jets and it was in Jersey this week, who are you taking?
Oh, fuck me. I would take the Jets to cover.
Well, we don't even know. We don't even know what the points would be. It'd probably be Jets plus points, but man, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't even have an answer
man.
for it.
Like, I'm out. I'm going Vegas money line. This Arizona team's in trouble, man.
Same.
5.5 is too much. I think 5.5 is too much. But I think that line, Vegas really likes that line because it's getting motherfuckers thinking. I think a lot of money is gonna go Cardinals' way, which is exactly what Vegas wants. When you see those types of point spreads, they want people to bet one way and then fucking lose because that's how Vegas makes their goddamn rake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Vegas on the money line. I don't know if they'll cover, but I like that Vegas team, especially what they can do to that secondary.
Yep. All right. So that takes care of our afternoon games on Sunday. We have our evening game on Sunday. This is the Bears versus the Packers being played in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The line is Green Bay -10, over under of 41.5. Now, I probably don't need to go through all the statistics I have here, but I'll fucking do it anyways. Rodgers is 21-7 against the spread versus the Bears lifetime. Rodgers is 25-12 against the spread in divisional home games. Rodgers is 10-4 against the spread at home versus the Bears. The Packers are 11-3 against the spread following a loss in their last 14 games. And week 2 teams who come off a double-digit loss in week 1 are 36-23-1 against the spread. That's 61% against the spread for the last 10 years. The Packers were embarrassed. I'll put it lightly, but they were embarrassed last week, which I expected. And they're playing at home this week, and they probably will right the ship. I do have Packers winning this game. But even with that sort of a line, I'm going to take the Bears +10.
Yeah. So the Packers are absolutely going to win this game. There's no doubt in my mind. You said Bears +10.
Yes. I'm taking the Bears +10 because they were able to hold a good rushing team last week pretty well versus the 49ers. I'm not scared by the Packers passing attack right now. Lazard will probably play this one.
Yeah. That will help. It will be a big help.
It's going to be a very noticeable difference. I don't see the Packers being a team that goes and blows people out this year. I mean, there was a lot of chatter, some of it from you, talking about how this Packers defense and that secondary,
they were supposed to be very good. They did not show up.
They got fucking torched.
Yeah.
By the guy they knew it was going to. I think the Packers defense is a little overrated. This will be a get-right game. The Packers will win this game, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout game like the line suggests right now. That's why I'm going to go Bears plus the points. This is probably the scariest one for me because I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Bears. I talked that the Bears would maybe get one win this season, and I think it was last week. But I'm going to take the Bears plus the points here.
So I'm right there.
The smart play is money line Packers. The smart play is money line Packers, and I'm not taking the smart play here.
And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm taking the Packers money line. 10 points I think is a lot. I think it's too much. But I'm not convinced that the Bears are going to be competitive week in and week out. And I think they got lucky with a brand new quarterback starting his first game. Weather played a factor, maybe not as much as people have made out, but it did play a factor. So it's just too many for me I'm not dealing with it. I'm just going to take the winner, and the winner is going to be the Packers. The Packers are going to win this week.
Yep.
But this is a teaser pick for me. Taking the fucking Bears in the teaser, because that puts me up to plus 16, I do not see the Packers blowing anybody out this year. At least not until I see a lot more out of that offense. They are going to be incredibly dependent on their running backs. They have a really good two-headed monster there. Guys that can do different things. They're very, very good in the running back spot. They're
And I mean,
not very good
Dylan was
receiver.
their leading rusher and receiver. And
Yeah.
he's considered their backup. I know they talked a lot about 1A, 1B, or 1A, 1A, as they called it, between Jones and Dylan.
I think there's a new lead back there.
Dylan
think it's
is
AJ Dillon.
slowly taking over that spot.
Yeah. But they're going to be incredibly dependent on them. And when you have to run the ball that many fucking times, that's going to shorten a game. I don't know if there's enough time for you to go up by that many. So Bears in a teaser gives me plus 16. There's no fucking way that I can see them putting up that many.
Yeah, not happening. All right. Moving on. We have our first Monday night game. We'll get to our second Monday night game a little bit later.
I'm fucking super pumped for the double Monday night game, though, by the way.
Yeah, me too. I took it off. Got to watch both these games. All right. So first, we have our early Monday night game, Titans versus the Bills, being played in Buffalo. The line is Buffalo minus 10, over under at 47.5. Bills are best team in the NFL, in my opinion. Titans got, beat by the Giants last week, which is very demoralizing. Unfortunately, they're going to come away with their second loss. So Bills money line for me. Again, this is a big ass spread. I'm not willing to take that one. So I'm going Buffalo money line on this game.
I am on the same boat. I'm going Buffalo money line. There's no doubt in my mind that Buffalo wins this. I think they're the best team in football. And it's not really right now. I mean, we could talk about the Chiefs. How the fuck do you spell Buffalo? ALO? Or
Buffalo?
I don't remember if it was two. But yeah, they're the best team in football. You can talk about the Chiefs being really good. They beat a really good team last night. Buffalo spanked the fuck out of the defending Super Bowl champs, who maybe are going to be a little bit down this year. Doesn't matter to me. The front of Buffalo is insane to me. The amount of depth that they have, the amount of pressure that they can create. Tannehill, notoriously bad when he's under pressure. Now, granted, a guy that can break the pocket, but they're not going to be able to do much here. This is another teaser pick for me, though, because 10 is a lot. I think Buffalo can cover 10. Am I willing to bet that? No. I'm tossing Buffalo in the teaser, though, because that takes me from plus 10 to plus 4. I'm good with that. I think Buffalo wins this by a touchdown. No problem.
Yeah, I feel that. All right. You ready to go back in time?
Yes.
All right, back in time to early Sunday morning. We have the Browns and Jets being played in Cleveland. Mike said he's going to be working that game. We currently have the line minus 6.5 for Cleveland, over under of 39.5. Jacoby Brissett, I didn't think looked too good in that game, but guy Kareem Hunt looked fucking real good. This is almost a bye week. It's the Browns for me. I'm even willing to take that minus 6.5. I'm taking Cleveland minus the points.
The Browns minus 6.5. And
Their
I'm right there with you.
Scares me a little bit, but the Jets don't scare me at all.
Yeah. So, we're going to be saying the same fucking things here again. The Browns came back. They won a game that they probably should have lost. They should have won, and then they let a team back into it. And then we're able to come away with the win. That's a big moment for a team that's kind of starting to try to find its place, because there's been so much turmoil around the Browns, and specifically at quarterback. Jacoby got them in a position where they had a chance to win the game. Now, is Jacoby going to go out there and wow you ever? I don't think so. I think he is going to be efficient. I think he will allow the offense to work within the scheme that is designed. And that scheme is designed on our running backs putting their dicks right in your beehole. Like we're going to run it down your fucking throat. Like I don't know that there's a front that is good enough, even with the injuries that the Browns have had, because we still are missing our starting right tackle. We're down to our third center. and we were able to dominate up front.
Is it
Coach
Ethan
Callahan?
Pocic that's starting at center for you?
Yes.
I liked him coming out of the draft. He never fucking
never
accounted
materialized
much,
in Seattle.
but I've always thought that he's an interesting, at least, backup.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's starting for us now. He played very well. We had a backup right tackle, played very well in Hudson. We're going to be able to run it right down the fucking Jets' throat all goddamn game. We'll be able to work play action off of that. The Jets do not scare me at all. The only guy on that team that I think is really, really intriguing, and I'm sorry that he went there, is Sauce. Sauce had a fucking phenomenal first game. But we're not going to be putting the ball in the air enough to worry about Sauce making a play or breaking shit up. We're going to run it right down their throats, and we're going to control time of possession. The Jets are not going to be able to score. Their running backs are okay. They don't scare me. We held up really well against a Christian McCaffrey. And we got Joe Flacco we're going against. I got first home game of the year. Joe Thomas being inducted into the fucking Ring of Honor at halftime for his consecutive snap count and just being a general badass. And also, Browns fucking trotting out a brand new, have not done this in years, center field logo. Brownie the elf is just dancing, Heismaning all over motherfuckers in the middle of the field. I expect us to come out and dominate this game. I like the fact that we can get a little bit better odds, more money on the Browns with a cover, because 6.5 is enough. They'll win by a touchdown. If it were 7 points even, maybe not. But the Jets, I think, are going to be perpetually bad. And we learned a little bit about ourselves. We're going to clean some things up in the back end of the secondary on some of that confusion. But I'm not worried about Joe Flacco putting too much of a test on our secondary.
Yeah, me either. I mean, Flacco, he threw the ball a fucking lot. That game. Yeah. The only thing that scares me is the Browns offense, specifically the passing attack, but you have such a dominant running game that I'm not really too worried about it.
Yeah, we're gonna have the ball for fucking 40 minutes.
All right.
So if we don't break off massive runs.
Yes, absolutely. So our last game to talk about this week is our late Monday night game. It is 5:30 p.m. here in Arizona. For me, we have
fucking
the Vikings
8:30 here. Oh,
yeah. We have the Vikings versus the Eagles being played in Philly. The line right now is Philly -2, over under of 50.5. All right. So obviously I'm excited about this game because I'm still riding the high off of last week, but this is definitely a test. This Eagles team is a test. All right. So I'll go through my little stats I have here. The Philly defense, they gave up God damn it. Excuse me. They gave up plus 0.36 expected points allowed per rush to the Lions, which doesn't sound like a lot, but running the ball is one of the lower expected points allowed type of plays, and that's actually pretty high. Their run defense allowed 2.2 yards before contact per rush, which was 5th worst in the league. And this is a defensive front that is expected to be good against the run, and 2.2 yards before contact is a lot. All right. We're talking if you get 3.3 yards on any given rush after contact,
you do that
whatever,
every play.
You do that every play because you're going to be getting first downs, right? Against 11 personnel, the Eagles, 11 personnel and running back rushes, the Eagles run defense allowed 0.56 expected points allowed per rush, a 9.6 yards per carry, and 6.87 yards after contact per rush, which is a ton. We're talking in 11 personnel, they were giving up almost 10 yards per carry.
Anybody who doesn't know what 11 personnel is, that's one tight end, one running back, which is primarily what you guys are running now.
Yes, it wasn't what we were running in the past, but as of right now, we are running 61.5% 11 personnel, which is 7th most in the NFL. Let's see here. All of these rushing stats for the Eagles ranked worst in the NFL in week 1 on 15 runs out of 11 personnel. The Lions totaled 144 yards. All right. The Eagles got pressure on only 14.8% of their early down dropbacks, which was 30th in the NFL last week as well. All right. So they weren't getting very much pressure against Goff and that Lions offensive line. Now, the Vikings offensive line is weaker than the Lions offensive line, specifically at center and guard. Wasn't a great showing for us there last week, but those interior rushers for the Eagles did not look good. They both ranked like worst and second worst in the NFL last weekend.
They should be very good there. Should be very good.
Yeah. And the Vikings were able to go out against what was expected to be one of the better defenses in the NFL. They were expected to be better than the Philly defense, Philly defense is expected to be good. But they weren't able to shut down the rush. The Vikings, I had to go back and look at the stats for the Vikings and their rushing yards last week.
Because they threw the ball so efficiently.
They did so well passing that I didn't really notice Dalvin Cook that much. Dalvin Cook still on 20 attempts got 90 yards rushing and another 18 yards on 3 receptions. All right. So the rushing game was still there for the Vikings. Like 90 yards is
4.5 yards per carry.
Good. All right.
Like that's very good.
We just didn't need to use our rushing attack because Justin Jefferson was able to go out there on 11 targets, 9 receptions, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns, on pace for a 3,000-yard season. Fuck the 2,000-yard receiving season for wide receiver. We're going for the 3K, baby, from JJ. Yeah. Obviously, that's not going to happen. There's a lot of talks of, how the Packers are probably going to end up doubling Justin Jefferson and stuff like that, and that they just didn't do it. I've listened to non-Minnesota pundits going through this game film. The Packers did do a lot to try to put extra coverage on Justin. They just couldn't cover him. Couldn't cover him. That's going to happen again this week, all right? There's going to be a big focus on JJ. But we still have Thielen and KJ Osborne. Those guys will end up eating. Irv Smith barely played last week because he's coming back from the injury. They just didn't need to put him out there. All right? So I'm not worried about
in the world.
I'm not worried about this Vikings offense. Absolutely. I'm not worried about this Vikings offense being able to go out there and score points against Philly. They were able to work around the offensive line issues that we did have. Kirk Cousins looked more efficient than I've ever seen him in a Vikings uniform. He stepped up into the pocket, which he doesn't ever do, and made great throws, even with pressure in his face. I believe, and I think I saved this here, but I think he was number 1 in the NFL last week. Highest graded passer when under pressure in week 1. Kirk Cousins at 82.6. Like, he did good against the pressure, which is abnormal.
Yeah.
It's an abnormality for sure. So part of that is the way that the scheme is working, the way Kevin O'Connell has gotten into Kirk Cousins' head and everything on how to work with this offensive line and this offense. The offense just looks so damn good. And Adam Thielen said it after the game. He's like, I've never been a part of a team that is always attack like this. And he's like, it's so much fun. Kevin O'Connell said, I'm on the sidelines running the game plan and players are coming up to me saying, yo, tempo, throttle them. We need to go throttle them more. And he's like, all right, let's do it. He's taking input from those players who are feeling that game change start to happen. He's like, all right, let's keep going. Like, that is a good synergy between the coach and the team there. Makes me feel so happy about this offense. The only question for me is the defense, because Jalen Hurts, he's mobile. Like, I watched some of that Eagles game last week. Jalen Hurts had some good passes. I think he had the best pass I've ever seen in his career to A.J. Brown on a back shoulder throw down the right side. It was great. But that was like his only real big pass. He's able to be mobile, get out of the pocket and stuff like that, and that scares me. And then I saw him throw some throws to the flats where he threw it in the ground. Like, not NFL caliber quarterback play. So it's a dichotomy of some really good explosive plays, and he's very dangerous, and he's definitely getting better in his career. But then you also have some stuff where our sideline Eagles reporter, Bobbert Goblin, said he reminds me of shitty Donovan McNabb. So I don't know, man. Like, that Eagles offense definitely is going to be able to put up more points against us than the Packers did. And this is going to be a closer game. I think that this actually might end up being an offensive shootout towards the end. That over under a 50.5 might end up getting challenged there. The problem is that Vikings have traditionally not been great in prime time. Specifically, Kirk Cousins hasn't been great in prime time. And we played against the Packers team last week, and I'll be completely honest, it could have been a very different game if Christian Watson had caught that first play pass, guaranteed touchdown for 75 yards. If they had kicked a field goal instead of going for it on fourth down at the goal line and us shutting them down, very different game. If they had scored that touchdown, very different game. It could have been a very different game very quickly for the Vikings last week, but it obviously wasn't. We throttled the Packers, and I love it. This is the most important matchup for me right now because this is going to show us what type of team we are. The Eagles aren't a joke. The Packers are a joke.
The
Eagles aren't a joke.
Get that sense as well.
The Eagles are not a joke. This is a big time test for us. This is a playoff type test for us, and we're going to see what sort of team that the Vikings actually are. Right now, the line is Philly -2. I'm taking Vikings plus the points. I would take Vikings to win outright. I'm not going to go with the over/under because I do think it could be a shootout. Our defense performed pretty damn well. They weren't great against the rush, but that's because they were focused on just making sure that nothing happened passing wise. And that's kind of how the Donatello defense works, is you'll allow more rushing to shut down the passing game. It's really weird how AJ Brown's a stud. He is definitely a stud. Yeah. Most dangerous part of that offense for the Eagles. It was really weird how they didn't get their other receivers really involved in the game. So if we're able to figure a way how to shut down AJ Brown, I think those other receivers could take advantage of that. But overall, our defensive backs didn't do bad last game. Jordan Hicks led the team in tackles, but he looked a little bit weak at backer as far as coverage. So I do think that the Eagles will put up some points on us. I could see this being like a 30-24 type of game here, but I do have my Vikings winning this one just because I got to ride that train. I said in the beginning of the year, it's a fucking win. And I'm going to keep saying it's a fucking win. Go Vikings. Skull.
All right. So you got Vikings +2?
Yes.
And I'm going the same way. I got Vikings +2 because I think this is going to be a very, very close game. Some of the things that I saw out of the Eagles offense surprised me. I thought Jalen threw the ball a little bit better, but I also think it helps that he has better weapons. He ran the ball very well, very efficient on offense, but he will have every once in a while he'll get the yips and he'll fucking dirt one. That is going to happen. You guys are not great in the secondary. Now, you didn't play bad last week, but you were playing a bunch of very young, not seasoned receivers. AJ Brown is a fucking stud. Devontae Smith's pretty goddamn good too. He makes this excellent number 2. I don't know if he will ever be that number 1, but he makes a really good number 2, and I think he works great out of the slot. I was a little concerned when we talked about it last week, the scheme change on how your running game would work. Dalvin was efficient. Now, he didn't do anything special, but he was efficient, 4.5 yards per carry. 20 carries, 90 yards. You'll take that every fucking day. I got no problem with that. Kirk Cousins, incredibly, incredibly efficient. It does worry me, the primetime game, but I think he's starting to break away from that a little bit. We've actually seen him finally win a primetime game and perform incredibly well, because that was the narrative for a very, very long time, is he just cracks under pressure.
I think that's part of this season is breaking narratives. We're breaking what we had in the past.
Yeah, and I love the fact that KOC is like, hey, we're going to do it. We're going to try to put our foot on the throats of the other people, and we're going to bury these guys. I don't know if you can bury the Eagles, though. Jay Jett is a stud. He is quickly working his way up to, best receiver in the league. You can't fucking cover the guy. It's insane. Which is also why I'm not trading him to you. But this is going to be a little bit closer of a game. I think you guys are better than the Lions. That's sure.
That's what I was gonna say real quick, is that Philly Lions game, 38-35, very close game. I think that our offense is better than the Lions offense all around. I think that our defense is at least as good as the Lions defense.
I don't know, man. Like, I really like that Lions defense. Now, my Aiden Hutchinson pick for Rookie of the Year did not get off to a great start last week. However, they do have another rookie at fucking linebacker who's an absolute stud, star of fucking No, I mean, he played great too. Fucking
Yep.
threw Kelsey to the goddamn ground like he's a rag doll.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Star of fucking Hard Knocks.
Yep.
They are pretty goddamn good on defense. They're getting much better on defense. This is going to be a close game in my opinion. I do think this has a potential to be a shootout. I am taking your Vikings plus the points. I could see this coming down to a single point though. I really could. Or we could see a push here, late field goal to maybe win it. This is going to be a very close game.
Lions obviously gave up 38 points, but I think that a worse offense from the Lions was still able to put up 35 points. Yes. All right. Now, I'll say this about the Lions defense. All right. These are the stat lines for Philly. Hurts was 18 to 32 passing, 243 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. All right. They had 216 rushing yards as a team. So they were able to rush all day. Yep. The Philadelphia Eagles were.
Well, we know that about Philly.
Team. All right. And AJ Brown 8 with 155 yards on 10 catches, 13 targets. So their passing game, they have receivers there that can do it. When you're almost matching the amount of rushing yards to passing yards, and they're both over 200, that's pretty damn good. So Philly was able to get it done versus that Lions defense, but their defense wasn't able to defend against the Lions either.
No. So, and that's why I'm on your Vikings. I love the stat about expected yards per carry, per rush, all that stuff, because that shit matters. And Dalvin is a top 5 back in the league. No doubt in my mind, he's a top 5 back in the league. The fact that the personnel matchup is not great on 11 personnel, I think plays a huge factor. I think you guys can win this game. You might even win this game, but in terms of our picks, the things that I would bet, I feel more comfortable going Vikings. Would I be surprised if your boys go out and get a win? I would not. Would I be surprised if the Eagles win a close game against you guys? I would not. I think
the Eagles could win this game. I do think it will be close.
Yes. So because I think it's going to be a close game, I'm taking the points and I'm going with your Vikings plus the points because I always like to have
Kirk Cousins is like 4-1 against the Eagles as well in his career. So he plays them well.
But he's also like fucking 1-10 in prime.
I think it's 2-9 now or something like that.
Yeah. Trends, they matter, especially when you're talking about your money.
For sure. All right. And so that wraps up our slate of games for this weekend in the NFL. Mike, you got anything else to go over?
Not in terms of anything sports wise. I just want to say thank you guys very much. Like we had, high school coach hops in here. We get to pump up his dude. The young man joins the Facebook group. Hopefully we can spread out a little bit more. So thank you for all of that. This is very exciting. Hopefully we can get some more guys. But in terms of storylines, games, no, I'm just very excited. I'm pumped for tomorrow. I'm going to get to watch. I'm going to do a really good job of not getting caught watching the game in the middle of the game when I'm supposed to be selling 50-50 raffle tickets. Because I'm a consummate professional and I could never possibly be distracted by football. But I'm also very excited to sit down for the fourth quarter and watch us absolutely shove it up the Jets' ass tomorrow because we're going to spank the fuck out of them.
I mean, the game might already be lost by the fourth quarter for those Jets. So
yeah, so I mean, in my guess, the game will already be over. I've been told that I can have a couple beers. I cannot pound as many as possible before I come home. But yeah, I'm pumped for that. Great weekend, man. Just happy to be here. Living the dream, baby.
Now, if my Vikings win on Monday night,
you're gonna be Liddy City and fucking hungover on Tuesday.
Everything's gonna be off the off my rock. It's gonna be Super Bowl or bust at that point, basically.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be calling them the class of the fucking NFC, kings of the fucking North. So it's gonna be a fun Monday.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that first game where I'm actually worried about the Browns losing. I was not worried about the Panthers. They did put a little scare in me, but I'm definitely not worried about the Jets. I'm waiting for that first game. Once we go 4-0, it's going to be, okay, we got to fucking actually play a team now. But until then, I'm just going to be riding high, ready to go on the Browns. big game next week. We're going to have the fucking Steelers at home on a Thursday night. I'm going to be tired as fuck come class on Monday morning or on Friday morning.
Frauds. And I guess we'll see this weekend if
frauds.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. All right. I got nothing else, man. You got anything?
No, I'm good, man. I'm ready to go.
All right. Let's do this. All right, guys. We are the Lineman Lounge. I'm Mike. The man to my right is Evo. We love you guys. Thank you for your support. If you want to interact with us, go to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We got all of that shit, and you can catch us here on YouTube damn near every Saturday. Every once in a while it changes, but we always put that shit out for you guys. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. We'll be back next week. See you.
Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are optional.